Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren, and I am the author of the story you're about to listen to. This week, we're going to listen to uh, the next part of the Hitman's Apprentice. So I hope you guys are enjoying the story so far, and I hope you enjoy this part. Thank you.
Star-Crossed by L. Lauren. Copyright 2018 L. Lauren. Part 2. Heat. The trip from Jake's Tavern to the convenience store Ajax scheduled for the wire transfer was quiet. Ajax didn't speak, Orion didn't speak, and music didn't play. The men traveled in silence for the entire 6 hours, until Ajax pulled the white sedan into a parking space. The car sighed, relaxing into the space as Ajax dug around for the proper identification. He pocketed one of his lesser-used identification cards and strolled inside the store with Orion. They split apart at the door. Orion walked the aisles, replenishing basic supplies they had ran out of, and Ajax approached the counter, identification in hand. "I'm expecting a wire transfer." Ajax placed his card on the counter, sliding it to the cashier. It bumped the yellowed pages of her drugstore romance book. "Do you have a tracking number?" The round-faced woman looked up from the text, adjusting her glasses. She tucked a bookmark in the page and sat the book aside, camouflaging the half-dressed man on the cover under a stack of receipts. "Yeah." Ajax rattled off a tracking number. She typed in the number. "One moment." As the computer worked, she checked Ajax's identification card and nodded. "I don't have enough in my register. Let me go to the back for a second." "All right." She hopped off her stool and disappeared, returning with an unmarked envelope. "Let me count it out for you." "Right." Ajax tucked his identification card away as she licked her thumb and counted the bills. She had half in large bills and the rest in a cascade of smaller bills. When she touched the last dollar, she smiled and stacked the bills again, putting them back in the envelope. "All $5,000. Flashing him an honest smile, she handed him the envelope. "So, what are you going to buy with all your money?" "I'm going to save it." "Oh yeah." She rested her chin in her hands, hazel eyes studying Ajax's bold features. "For someone special?" Her eyes flicked to Orion, before back at Ajax. "What?" "Oh." Ajax exhaled a rush of air, the apples of his high cheekbones washing with a rich red. "Yeah, maybe. You guys look good together, and you glow when you look at him. I want someone to look at me like you look at him," she lamented. Thanks." Ajax folded the envelope and buried it in his back pocket as Orion approached them. His arms stretched awkwardly around a collection of assorted necessities. "I have everything we need." Orion dumped everything on the counter at once. "Wet wipes I was telling you about, socks, lighters, and toilet paper just in case. You really never know when you'll need it." "Agreed," the woman chuckled, scanning the items and depositing them into a thin plastic bag. "How long have you two been together?" "We're not." "Not long, but it feels like forever," Orion replied, grinning over his shoulder at Ajax, lightness filling his eyes. "Yeah, it does." "Aw." She scanned several cans of soup and a box of 12 oatmeal pies. "Whoa. Hold on." Ajax waved a hand. "What?" The cashier looked up. Orion glanced at the ceiling, before rolling his eyes to Ajax. "Oatmeal pies aren't a necessity." "Sure they are. I got your favorite too." Orion shifted through the pile, picking up a large pack of sour gummy candy. "See? Neon sour worms. Are these a necessity?" The woman chuckled. Ajax made a noise. "No, but it's fine. Get the oatmeal cookies or whatever." The total came to barely over $30, and Ajax scowled as he paid the woman the exact amount. Back at the vehicle, Ajax pulled a safe from under Orion's seat and filed the money away, separating the bills by their faces and locking the safe again. He shoved the gray box under Orion's seat before getting on the road again. How much money do you have? Orion opened an oatmeal pie, tearing the thin plastic wrapper with his teeth and licking stray cream from his fingers as it oozed from the rim of the cookies. Here or all together? Both. On me, I guess a little under 10,000. At the house there's more. What are you planning to do with it? Donate it. Do you pay taxes? Ajax blinked. Under which name? Oh, good question. And I suppose your income isn't exactly reported. Is this another reason we pay with cash all the time? Bingo? Orion sat back in his seat, staring forward as he chewed his bottom lip. The government would take notice if someone seemed to be buying a lot of things, but never had income coming in. Correct? Especially if you put it in bank accounts. Ajax nodded. I don't use banks. This lifestyle takes commitment. Yeah. What about like bills and things? Don't bills require you to have accounts? Yes. Can't the government find you by the account? Sure, if they had a reason to find me. What name do you use for your bills? A fake one I never use for anything else. Orion nodded, chewing his lip again. His brow furrowed as his mind created more questions. What about your place? I own it, but there's no reason for anyone to start checking deeds for land. Did you buy it? Yeah. Dee and I bought it together, and built the house too. I see. And it's safe? The house? Yeah. About 250 acres of land, and the house is all the way in the back with a pathway up to the house. Why is it so far back on the land? Don't want anyone seeing what we're up to. Oh, okay. So how long is the path? About a half-mile going straight, but it's not a straight path, so about a full mile. A mile? Yeah. What part of safe do you not understand? Wow. Okay. Orion shook his head, crossing his arms over his chest. Nothing. Damn it, Ajax muttered. You get offended at everything? No. I get offended when you're mean. How am I being mean? The thing about me not understanding. I guess. I don't like it, Orion paused, banging his wrist against the center console, when people imply I can't understand something. I don't know why, but it bothers me. And it reminds me of Nikolai. Ajax drove in silence with Orion seething next to him all the way to the next seedy hotel. Orion's anger billowed off him in waves, and the yellow blinking sign illuminated Orion's fading tan, filling his eyes with an ethereal glow. Ajax pushed the gear shift into the parked position and studied the boy's profile. What? His scowl grew deeper and he glanced at Ajax. I'm sorry about what I said. I didn't mean to imply something negative about your intelligence. Okay. Orion returned his attention to the outside, focusing his attention on one spot. Ajax's eyes fixed on Orion's moving lips, licking his own as he watched them narrow, stretch, and then return to a neutral position. In the yellow light, Orion was perpetually frowning. He was also beautiful. A weird mix of desire and craving pulsed inside Ajax, keeping time with the flickering sign. Orion sighed. What? Nothing. I'll go inside. Ajax fumbled with his keys as he ripped them out of the ignition and stuffed them in his pocket. He grabbed the first identification card in his center console and climbed out of the vehicle, slamming the door behind him. The check-in was uneventful. Ajax strolled up to the counter, dropped his identification down in front of a bleary-eyed old man, and requested a single bedroom. After a few quick strokes to the keyboard and a money exchange, Ajax pocketed one keycard and walked back to his car. They unloaded the vehicle, and Orion carried his one bag inside, placing it on the metal rack in the closet. He showered and he crawled into bed, turning over and curling up without a word. Ajax spent most of the night cleaning his smaller guns. He scrubbed and polished them until his shoulders ached and his body begged for sleep. It was 2 weeks of directionless driving before Trav called Ajax. They had driven up and down the west coast, enjoying the sand between their toes and the growing chill of the night air. When Trav finally called, the brief conversation gave Ajax a time and date, and they set off in the car. They traveled north until the 70-degree weather turned to 40-degree weather, and Orion purchased 2 heavy jackets. "Where are we?" Orion asked, as they turned off the main highway onto an undeveloped path. "Almost there. Put your boots on," Ajax instructed as the sedan rattled up to a 2-level modern home with a flat roof and floor-to-ceiling windows on each side. Ajax parked on an unpaved driveway next to a midnight blue SUV. Orion hopped out of the vehicle. His loose boot slipped. "Whoop!" He scrambled, reaching towards the side of the vehicle. His nails scraped the grungy gray-leather door handle. One hand extended in front of him. His knees bent, and he fell into the only wet spot around them. The ground depressed under him, and mud stained his clothes. He twisted, burying one hand in the dirt. His ankle throbbed. "Ack? Ajax?" "Yeah?" He walked around the vehicle. "Oh, I think I hurt my ankle." "You would." Ajax gripped Orion under his arm and lifted him to his feet. "Ah. Can you stand on your own?" "I think so." Orion supported his weight on his other leg and eased the other one down. He winced. "Is it swelling?" Ajax crouched, feeling the outside of Orion's muddy boot with an enigmatic frown. Goosebumps raised up Orion's skin as he gripped Ajax's shoulders. "Oh, this is a sight." "What?" Ajax looked up at him, still on his knees. "You on your knees in front of me." Ajax pursed his lips. "Right. Go ahead and go up the stairs. I'll get the stuff out of the car." The door opened when they reached it, and a frizzy red-haired man filled the frame. His bulky shoulders touched the left and right side of the frame. "AJ. Fuck, man. I thought you died in the woods or something." "Oh damn." He closed the door behind them and took the bags from Ajax, placing both on the floor. "Thanks," Ajax grunted as he scooped Orion into his arms. "Ah. Ankle." Orion cried, his own arms roping around Ajax's neck. "It feels swollen." "He's the new recruit?" Trav quirked a rust-colored eyebrow. "Yeah. He looks well. Are you sure he's got potential?" "I'm sure." Ajax walked through Trav's open-concept living room and deposited Orion on the kitchen bar counter. He unlaced his boots, twisting both of them off and surveying Orion's feet. "Is it bad?" Orion quirked his eyebrows up. "No. I'm going to wrap it up, and we're going to ice it. Trav, do you mind if we crash here for a few days?" "I thought you were hanging out for a bit anyway." "Well, I was planning on staying a while, but I have to go to Ricky's. I'm here at least until Saturday night, so we could have a little fun." Ajax smirked as he helped Orion out of his muddy clothes. "Damn, man. Didn't you just come from Jake's a few weeks ago?" Whatever. I guess I should be lucky you made it all the way out here to see lil ol' me." Trav retrieved a roll of bandages from the bathroom, setting it beside Orion. "Damn right you should be." Ajax's features lit up in a boyish grin. He crouched in front of Orion again, dark eyes glancing up at him as he bandaged his foot. Orion met Ajax's gaze with a gasp, and his nerve endings throbbed at the man's gentle touch, waking up something deep inside him. Not desire or excitement, but something else he hadn't felt in a long time, and his whole body screamed for more. His fingers curled around the lip of the counter, and he inched forward, resting his other foot on Ajax's shoulder, toes bunching in his shirt. Trav cleared his throat. "So what else you been up to?" "Not much. I heard Cicely's pregnant again." "From Jake?" "No, from Mila." "You think it's true or another attempt to get me to settle down?" Ajax wrinkled the bridge of his nose. "Could be either. At least she's not saying she's pregnant this time." Point. "Don't know why she's so hell-bent on making a baby with me, when she hangs on every man who'll give her a little attention. She flopped all over Brody too. You saw Brody? He's a jerk, Orion whispered. Trav laughed a deep rolling laugh. It warmed Orion's heart. He is. You should have Ajax tell you about our training days. Man, Brody was the worst, but now he thinks he's big and bad because he takes a lot of 86s. 86s? Orion looked at Ajax. Assassin jobs. Ajax continued bandaging his foot. Yeah, assassin jobs. They're the showy jobs, but you'll always get caught. It's a matter of time before he goes to jail. He's probably messing up left and right. Probably. How often do you guys take assassin jobs? Orion glanced between them. Me? Never. Trav winced, shaking his head. I don't like dead bodies. He fainted the first time we had to dispose of one. AJ grinned. Wait. You had to dispose of a dead body? Yeah. Standard practice so you don't pass out on the field. Guilty. Trav chuckled. What do you do instead? Hack computer systems and add fake people to the database so we can live in secret. Trav snapped his fingers. Speaking of which, you said you wanted your names to be Orion, Ryan, Oliver, and Ian? Why, yes. Good choices. Common names are best. I got your packet in my office. Ajax secured the bandage with a small elastic clip and poked around the kitchen, filling a plastic bag with ice. Thank you. What all is in my packet? The usual. Identification, birth certificates, social security cards, credit cards. Trav shrugged. What you want for dinner? I have soup, or we could pick something up. Soup is fine. I'll go get some groceries tomorrow. Ajax secured the plastic bag and pressed it into Orion's ankle. How does this feel? Cold. Trav laughed. I like you. Ajax shook his head, holding the bag of ice on Orion's foot as Trav pulled a chilled pot from his stainless steel refrigerator. The stove crackled with natural flame as it warmed the bottom of the pot. I would like to hear more about your training. Is it like high school? You know what? It kinda is. Minus the school dances and the yearbooks. It was about 10 of us. Ages didn't matter or nothing, but about 10 of us. Me, AJ, Brody, Chris, Cicely the twins, Hunter, and Ellis. Orion counted the names on his fingers. You only listed 9. He forgot Rain. Yeah, her. Trav's cheeks colored. What about her? And nothing. She was just damn gorgeous. Like nothing you ever seen gorgeous. Long hair, black hair, iridescent skin. DSL. DSL? Orion tipped his head to the side. Nothing, Ajax muttered. How's your leg? My leg is fine. My ankle is the sprained part. What's DSL? Dick-sucking lips. Trav's eyes glossed over as memories long past replayed in his mind. Yeah. Ajax placed the melting bag of ice beside Orion and stirred the pot of soup. I'm sorry. What constitutes dick-sucking lips? Thick, soft, pillowy. Damn, I wonder where she is right about now, Trav lamented, stroking his stubbly chin. Full, Ajax added. Yeah, full. Isn't full and thick the same thing? The boy knit his eyebrows together. Nope. Full is width and thick is length. Big mouth and full sexy lips. Interesting. Orion chuckled. How are mine? Trav grinned. Your lips? Not bad. I mean, for a guy, you've got some nice lips. Orion chuckled again. I think I heard Rain was doing jobs in Europe or Russia or something. Ajax shrugged. You can't look her up if you really want to find her. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I could, but it's not like we had some whirlwind romance like you two. This isn't a romance. Ajax spooned steaming soup into a bowl, tipping it to his lips for a taste. Right, I forgot. You're going to train him. I am. Is the soup good? Orion slipped off the counter and hobbled around it, gripping the surface for balance. Can I taste? It's edible, Ajax grunted, passing Orion the muddy liquid. Hey. It's my mother's recipe. Trav scowled. Ajax lifted an eyebrow, as a pregnant silence fell over the two men. The corners of his lips curved down to the dichotomy of his sparkling eyes. Trav's frown morphed into a grin, and in the next second they were howling with high-pitched laughter. Ajax's old friend drew out his youth. The hard lines on his forehead smoothed, and his eyebrows curved around mahogany eyes. The joke wasn't funny. Orion rolled his eyes. It's totally funny, 'cause none of us have a mother. The hysterical laughter reset itself. Trav doubled over with it, arms across his belly and tears at the corners of his eyes. Orion pursed his lips together, slurping the bland soup from his spoon. Tell me more about your training. Oh. Okay. Well, you know how you have different classes in high school? We had something similar, except our classes were how to hotwire a car, assembling weapons, self-defense, computer hacking, and waste disposal. If you were really good at one, you'd get advanced work. What were you really good at, Ajax? Assembling weapons, self-defense, waste disposal, and disguise. Basically, he was good at everything but hacking, and I was good at hacking. We did make a great team. Ajax grinned. Yeah. Remember the time we scheduled a shutdown for the entire computer system? Ah, fuck yeah. And they sent us to our rooms, but we scheduled the power to die in our rooms too? All because you wanted to get laid. What was her name again? Wasn't a her. Oh right. You sword fought with Ty. I almost forgot. You slept with a guy? Orion's green eyes grew wide. AJ? He'll sleep with anyone with legs. Would probably sleep with you if you were missing them too. What? Ah. Ajax frowned. You know what? I'm going to go make a bed for you. Ajax wiped his hands on his jeans and danced around Orion as he left the kitchen and rushed down the hall. Damn. Was it something I said? No. Well, our relationship isn't personal. Oh, you mean y'all aren't fucking? No. Interesting. Trav raised both eyebrows before neutralizing his expression. You want a beer? Sure. The burly man nicked 2 chilled beer bottles from the refrigerator, opening them both before passing one to Orion. So tell me about yourself. Like what? Like how you and AJ met. Oh. He killed my husband and put a gun to my head. I begged him not to kill me, and he didn't. Orion sipped the beer and wrinkled his nose, smacking his lips together as he swallowed the hoppy taste. Oh, you were his latest job. That's, interesting. Is it? Yeah, it's only breaking about 100 rules, all dealing with keeping work and play separate. I'm not play. I know you're not play. I mean, he basically didn't complete the job, and it puts our whole world at risk bringing you in. How can we trust you? Are you communicating with anyone? Will you if given the chance? What if someone finds out who you are? What if you want to go back to your old life and your family? I never thought of those things. You don't have to, and it's okay. AJ already did plus more. Hang out here for a second, I'll get your identity packages. Trav guzzled his beer, swallowing big gulps before leaving Orion in the kitchen, disappearing in his office. Orion sighed, picking at the bottle's label as he studied the marbled concrete floor. The pattern looked like waves, curling and crashing into each other with foamy white crests. The color swirled from rich blue to muted grays, tying into Trav's worn gray couch, his formerly white rug, and his mottled granite countertops. None of it matched. Trav returned a few minutes later with a legal envelope tucked under his thick arm and an empty beer bottle in his sausage fingers. He tossed the bottle in a blue stainless steel bin at the end of the kitchen counter. Do assassins like legal envelopes? First, we're not all assassins. We do odd jobs for money. And second, yes. It makes it feel professional. Here. Check 'em out. Whatever. Smirking, Orion opened the envelope, pulling out 4 different identification cards with various birthdays and slightly different life stages. Trav had altered each picture enough to resemble Orion, but not look exactly like him. The other information was valid, minute variations on Orion's true height and weight. Memorize the birthdays, Trav explained. They're all a month and a day apart. Damn. You're quick. They are. And the years go backwards, with this one being the oldest. Orion showed Trav the last identification card where Trav had stretched his face and added a few extra pounds to his weight. Yeah, everyone gains and loses weight during their lifetime. The big failure with identification cards is making them look too similar to the person. Generally similar is fine, of course, but if it looks exactly like you are right now, it'll look too on the nose. The features are the same, like the eyebrows, eye shape, and lips. Those are the most important. Thank you for these. Truly. You're welcome. AJ's my buddy, so I don't mind doing it for you. Trav grabbed another beer from the refrigerator. Married, eh? It was an arranged marriage. They still do arranged marriages? Of course. How else do you ensure future gains? The marriage was all about controlling assets. My father wanted to control, or at least influence, my Nikolai's actions. Did he? Nikolai felt indebted to him because of the marriage. Orion folded his arms across his chest, fingers curling around his pointed elbows. I get it. Your pops gave you away to Nikolai to control him. Yes. And you by extension. Yes. He told me I was aiding in the family business the only way I could. What was the family business? Trading, Orion whispered. Trading people. Dude? What? Trading people. The boy's lip trembled as he repeated himself, and his shoulders shrugged up around his ears. You, who's your father? Tony Perseus Cromwell. No shit, really? Fuck, he's a beast. Right? Your brother is Apollo Cromwell? He's the oldest. He's a fucking idiot. Yes. They put out a press statement a week or so ago about you. They tried to look sad, but I'm pretty sure the little dickbag was trying not to laugh. Trav glowered. On the news? About what happened? What did it say? I don't remember exactly, but we can look it up on the computer if you want to. Yes. But perhaps tomorrow. I should check on Ajax. Oh, right. Yeah. Probably should. How's your ankle feel? Aching, but I think I can hop back there. Thank you, though. For the beer, and the food and everything. Orion's cheeks colored, as he took another shy sip of the watery liquid before discarding it on the counter. He hobbled out of the kitchen and down the shallow hallway, using the wall for a guide. He peeked into the first room down the hall, finding Ajax stretched across a half-made bed. He was sound asleep, still in his boxers, boots, and black shirt. Orion climbed into the bed and raked his fingers through Ajax's brown curls, his palm over Ajax's warm cheek. Ajax? He groaned. Sleep. Of course. No. You, he instructed. He fought with the blankets, eyes shut tight, until he draped them over Orion's lithe body, trapping Orion under the weight of several blankets and his arm. Orion slept for one full day bundled in 4 blankets with a moist towel blotting his forehead. He woke up for dizzying bathroom breaks and drifted off to the low hum of voices from the living room. He woke the next day with a pounding headache. A flush of sweat soaked the sheets. He groaned, throwing the sheets back and stepping onto the concrete floor, jerking his toes back as icicles shot through his veins. He dug abandoned sweaty socks from the blankets and toiled out of the bed. The dimly lit room spun around him as he followed the wall to the attached bathroom. His fingers trailed over the doorframe, switching from painted walls to tacky wallpaper, and over the porcelain counter to the toilet. His stomach churned as he looked into the clear water, and he burped before yellow bile surged through his esophagus and out of his mouth. He groaned again. After flushing the toilet, he splashed water on his face, brushed his teeth, and tiptoed down the hall to the living room, towards the crashing sound of video games and easy laughter. Orion lingered in the hallway, resting his head on the wall, and watched Ajax and Trav on the couch. He jerked at the soft popping sound of artificial guns, rubbing his hands down his arms and hugging himself. Woo! Trav threw his hands in the air and tossed the controller on the coffee table in front of the gray couch. For a guy who kills people, you suck at this game. Well, this dumb game ain't got nothing to do with really killing someone. Their bodies disappear. Ajax laughed, nudging Trav with his elbow. You want to go out and do a real crime? We'll see who's winning then. No. Unless the crime is stealing a pizza. Fuck, if we have soup one more time I'll start crying. Trav shoved Ajax back. Hey, you think the kid is doing okay? He's still running hot? A little. Should we take him to the doctor? I wish we could, but we can't. He's gotta pull through. Damn. I know. Ajax lit a cigarette and put it to his lips. Orion saw the smoke curl from the glowing red tip. I'll go check on him. Ajax set his video game controller on the coffee table and stood. He walked around the couch, dark eyes studying the floor as he approached the hall. Hi, Orion whispered when Ajax reached the hallway and looked up. How do you feel? Ajax exhaled a wave of smoke over Orion's head, rustling his hair with his breath. Be better. I think I should eat. I can make you soup? Orion's stomach turned over, gurgling. No thank you. See there? He doesn't even want the soup. Trav laughed. Shut up, Trav, Ajax growled. I can go out and get you something? I'm not hungry. You don't have to go out to get something. Orion shrugged, green eyes scanning the room before finding Ajax's. You need to eat something. Ajax put his cigarette between his lips and touched the backs of his fingers to Orion's skin. His rough fingers slid down his forehead over his temple and under his chin. Why yes. Orion's lips trembled. And then rest more. Ajax's exploratory hand crept over Orion's neck. Thumb stroked the boy's jawline, and 4 fingers rested just under his hairline on the back of his neck. Will you rest with me? I rest with you every night. Do you? Orion stood on his toes, leaning into Ajax's touch. Yeah. How is your ankle? Much better. Good, Ajax rumbled. Okay, Orion whimpered. He hesitated before reaching out for Ajax, sliding a hand up his muscular chest, fingers walking over his shoulder. He closed the distance between them, squaring his hips with Ajax's and sucking in a deep breath of Ajax's natural scent. He smelled of wood and leather, of virility, and Orion's heart skipped. He lost his breath. Go rest. I'll find you something to eat. You don't stay gone long. Travel be here. You'll be safe. Safe, Orion turned the word over in his mouth. Security. He picked lint from Ajax's shirt as his green eyes brimmed with moisture. Yeah. I'll be back. Y'all are awkward. Since you're going out, I want a pizza. Trav waved several folded bills in the air. I would like a pineapple and ham pizza. Orion slid his hands back down Ajax's body, feeling every muscle under his shirt. Fingers traced his pectorals, each individual abdominal muscle, and the sharp curve of his obliques. You hang out with Trav. Orion nodded. I will. Ajax nodded and stepped past Orion. He threw a jacket on his shoulders and shoved his feet in heavy steel-toed boots. I'll be back in about 2 hours. The door slammed shut behind him, jerked closed by a strong wintry breeze. Trav glanced back at Orion. I'm glad you're feeling better. You want to play games, or I could show you my computer room? Can we do both? Absolutely. Let's play with computers first, and we can play games when AJ gets back with the pizza. Trav leapt off the couch and met Orion in the hallway, leading him to the second door down the hall. Okay, so it's a little messy, Trav warned as he flicked on the light and pushed the door all the way open. Orion stepped inside the room, pausing just inside and peering around. His eyes landed on the dual-monitor computer occupying the main desk of the room, and he swam through stacks of dead laptops and computer towers until he reached Trav's swiveling leather chair. 2 screens? Yeah, it makes hacking and coding easier. Trav shrugged. Coding is when you design your own programs, correct? Yeah, but not just programs. Anything you want to use on a computer has code. If you want to send a virus or shut someone else's system down, you have to know code. Do cell phones have codes? Yeah. Everything, modern-day electronic. Okay. Can I see what it looks like? Sure. I mean, it won't look like much, but I have some books around here you can study if you're interested in really learning how to code and hack. It's pretty math-heavy. Trav moved behind his computer desk, sinking down in the chair. I like math. Orion sat on the arm, leaning over as Trav's fat fingers pecked at the keys. Trav lacked grace, but within seconds he had opened a black window with white pixelated letters, numbers, and symbols. There it is. This stuff right here. It can shut down a major bank if you know what you're doing. The real power is in the programmer. Never forget that. If you really want to work with Ajax for a long time, he'll always have you beat on the physical front, but he hates this stuff. You learn this, and you'll be invaluable to him. Really? You want to be indispensable, right? Yes. Learn coding. I'll lend you my books. Okay. Orion slipped into Trav's lap, balancing on his knee as he leaned closer to the screen. His sharp nose touched the cold monitor screen as he studied the collection of symbols. It's not going to make any sense to you. Trav chuckled. Coding is like a whole new language, and there are many different types of codes. There's not only one? No. There's HTML, which is a web page language, along with JavaScript and PHP. If you're going to mess with a website, you need these. Mess with a website how? I don't know, shut down login pages, change download files, whatever. Messing with website codes aren't major, they just ruin someone's afternoon. I see. Like a handicap. Yeah. Well, sorta. Definitely, a handicap. And while they're sorting out the handicap, you can do the real damage. Nice. I like this. It's like an I can't think of the word. Aha. Trav squinted at Orion. Anyway, for actual programs we have C, C++, Java, and Visual Basic. I have to learn them all. In due time, little grasshopper. Trav grinned. For now, I'm going to show you some really basic HTML. He wheeled his seat closer to his computer and leaned against Orion as he typed, watching over his shoulder. Orion leaned against Trav's bulky chest, crossing his legs. Anything you can do on a computer text-wise is HTML, and it's always HTML. You want to make something bold? Okay, there's a code for it. Underline, strikeout, italics, bullet points, numbers can be done with HTML. Trav created a blank web page on one monitor and displayed the source code on the other. I'm going to type my code here, and the right side will show you the results. Okay. Trav typed the phrase, Orion is a pumpkin, and added different effects to the text. He copied the phrase 10 times, applying a small detail to each copy while leaving the first as the original. Orion giggled. And you can combine these two, right? Say if I want a bold and italicized item? Of course. You know what else? You can also change the color of this page, the color of the text, add a repeating picture background. Whatever you want, kid. I see. If HTML can do so much, why do the other website building codes exist? Well, HTML will only apply to one page. If you had multiple pages, you'd have to apply the code to each one, which is fine. We use style CSS to do it quickly and efficiently, but we're not website designers, so I mean this is kind of like calculus. Nice to know, but rarely used in real life. Okay. Orion chuckled. So what's my homework? Well, actually, your homework is to make a simple website. Using what? Using HTML and a laptop. Lift up. Let me get you one. Trav pinched Orion's side, and the boy popped to his feet. Orion retreated to the door as Trav dug through his junk, retrieving a heavy laptop and a thick textbook. He handed both to Orion. Thank you. Orion turned the laptop over in his arms. Charger? Shit. Right. I have one around here somewhere. He swam through his collection of computer supplies again, returning with 5 power supplies and testing each tip until one fit. There we go. Here's your charger. Wow. Thank you. Orion's green eyes sparkled. I will go work on my homework now. He turned on his toes and pranced out of Trav's office, toting his supplies into the kitchen and making himself a workspace on the bar counter. He climbed into a stool and turned the device on. Trav joined him later with his own sleek laptop, and they worked side by side for the remainder of their time together. Trav squinted at his backlit screen as Orion glanced from the textbook to his laptop's dim screen, practicing the exercises as he went through the chapters. Ajax returned hours later, kicking the door open with 2 pizza boxes balancing on one hand and case of beer in the other. Trav opened a box and stole a floppy slice of pizza, biting into it. Orion closed the textbook and approaching the other man as well. He picked up a slice of pizza from the box and folded it in half before biting off the pointed tip. What's all this? Ajax stepped around the 2 men, placing the open pizza box on the counter and depositing the case of beer in the refrigerator. He tipped his head towards the electronics. Oh. Trav showed me his office and he gave me this. Orion tapped the smaller, clunkier laptop. He also gave me this to learn from. Orion motioned to the book. Learn what? How to code and hack things. Orion unfolded his half-eaten pizza and picked off the round pepperoni slices and grizzled sausage balls. He folded the pizza again. He was interested. Trav shrugged. Good. Ajax devoured his own slice of pizza. Want to play another round of Capital Crime City? Ajax jutted his chin towards the television and the 2 video game controllers sitting on the scuffed coffee table. A grin spread across Trav's face, dinting his cheeks. Hell yeah. What's Capital Crime City? Only the best video game ever. Come on. Trav beckoned Orion over to the couch as he sat down and turned on the gaming console. Menacing music filled the speakers, and sharp cartoon graphics danced on Trav's flat-screen television. After a quick glance at Ajax, Orion sat beside Trav. It's a game where you're tasked with doing illegal stuff, Ajax explained, eating another slice of pizza and joining them on the couch. He sat beside Orion, grabbing the other controller. So basically, you 2 play your real life on a video game? Sorta. Except in this game, if you die, you get reset from the beginning. In real life, if you die, you stay dead. The screen split in half horizontally, and they customized their characters. Trav's character was in a red shirt and baseball cap on the top, and Ajax's character navigated the screen on the bottom in blue. Pretty much. And in this one, you can be a little sloppy, and you won't go to jail. Like there's no forensics or intelligent police force. Gotta make the game fun for the idiots. Trav chuckled as he mashed a combination of buttons. His character smashed a car window and climbed in. I see. Orion chuckled. He shifted his position, batting his eyelashes at Ajax and twisting his thin body. His back sloped into a deep curve and his shoulders touched his ears. His bleached hair tickled his freckled shoulders, locks slipping from behind his ear and brushing his nose. Can I play? What? Ajax glanced at Orion. His nostrils flared. Oh. Yeah. Sure. Orion slithered into Ajax's lap, rolling his hips as he settled. So? Orion traced his fingers down Ajax's strong arms, over his hands, and rested over the colorful buttons. What do these do? Trav coughed, sucking his teeth. You want me to wait on you while you explain everything? Nah. And no. You go ahead. Ajax rumbled, chest pressing into Orion's back. Ajax's musky scent washed over Orion again, and he shivered. Why yes, he agreed, tracing the smooth buttons beside Ajax's rough fingers. He felt his steamy breath on his neck. The smell of cigarettes and beer breezed past his nose. These buttons control the character. Each one does a different action. These are the analog sticks. One controls movement, and the other controls direction. Like you can walk backwards but still face forwards. If you want to walk backwards and face backwards, you have to turn both like this. Ajax's thick eyebrows knit together as he explained the rest of the buttons and their uses. He showed Orion how to hold the controller and then surrendered it to him. Oh, you're going to let me play on my own? Sure. Ajax adjusted the folded hem of Orion's shorts, smoothing the crease and inspiring goosebumps down Orion's thigh. Okay. Orion crossed his legs, setting the controller in his lap as he raked his hair back. He concentrated on the flashing screen, adjusting slowly to the dual analog sticks. His armored character froze in place as he adjusted the viewing direction before walking forward with the left analog. How do I change weapons? You can't change because you only have the pistol right now. You have to pick up other weapons before you can switch. Oh, is the pistol a good weapon? Haha, no. The pistol is terrible. Bad accuracy, not much damage, Trav offered. Here. Let me see where you are, and I'll bring you something better. You need a close combat weapon, a mid-range weapon, and a long-range weapon. Like a wrench, a better handgun, and a sniper rifle. Ajax rested his chin on Orion's shoulder. A wrench is a close combat weapon? For the game, yeah. Trav shrugged. What about for real life? In real life? I guess a wrench would do okay. It seems like it would take a lot of effort. What do you normally use for close combat, AJ? Whatever I can get my hands on, but I try to avoid close combat. Close combat means I did something wrong. Was shooting me at 0-point range not close combat? Orion blinked. It was different. It was going to be a murder-suicide kind of thing. And it's called point blank. Whatever. Orion's nails tapped against the hard plastic of the controller as memories of their first interaction swirled in his brain. It was a pivotal moment in his life. Lawrence Orion Cromwell died there next to the old man who had owned him. Orion got in a car with a stranger, traveled for a week in an unknown direction, and became someone new. What weapon do you want? I have a wrench, a hammer, and some knives for close combat. Pick the hammer. It has the best stats, Ajax whispered. His steamy breath caressed the shell of Orion's ear. His pillowy lips swept over instantly blazing skin. Ha! Orion arched in Ajax's lap, toes curling in the fibers of Trav's circle rug. His heart accelerated, thumping desperately against his ribcage. Hammer. Sure thing. I'm going to drop it, and you pick it up once you're close to it. All right. Okay. Orion nodded, fumbling with the analog sticks until his character walked towards Trav's. Thank you. Now what? Now we commit crimes together. We're supposed to be doing a robbery, so let's go. Trav's character jumped in the originally stolen car and rolled over to Orion's character. Press the A button to open the door, and again to get inside. Orion nodded. I have never played these before. Played video games? Your daddy didn't buy them for you? Trav glanced at Orion before concentrating on the screen again. He bought them for my brothers, but they didn't let me or my sisters play with them. Why not? The boy shrugged, leaning back against Ajax. We did chores. They didn't? No. They worked with my father after school while my sisters and I had to cook and clean and wash. Doesn't make sense. He liked all the boys but you? My brothers are straight and masculine or whatever. They like sports and basketball. Basketball falls under the category of sports, Ajax murmured. I know. I didn't like any of those things. Well, I liked soccer, and I played for a while until I got a crush on one of the other teammates. Everything happened so fast. I guess I told my siblings maybe, but when my dad found out, he started treating me like a girl. What is it with old people not understanding sexuality? Shit steams me up. Trav scowled. Stupid simple thinking. I mean, I don't understand what you went through 'cause I'm straight, I guess. What do you mean you guess? You're not sure? Well, I mean, who really knows their orientation? I could be straight for now, but I don't think love cares what someone has in their breeches. What if someone is perfect for you? Is their equipment going to stop you from going for it? It wouldn't stop me. It wouldn't stop me either. Really? Orion paused the game, looking at both of them, eyes lingering on Ajax longer. He searched the man's face, green eyes trailing over his sharp features until he reached his brooding dark eyes. He lost himself in them. He forgot where they were, what they were doing. He forgot his name. Orion nibbled his bottom lip, cheeks coloring. Really? Play the game. Ajax motioned to the television. Hang on. While y'all make eyes at each other, I'ma grab a beer. Trav put his controller down and jumped off the couch. Y'all want one? No thank you. Orion suppressed a little smile as he ducked his head and turned back around in Ajax's lap. Yeah, I'll take one. Cool. Trav returned with 2 beers. All right, we ready to play now? Yes. Orion unpaused the game after Trav popped the cap off his beer. The characters crashed into a building and jumped out of the car before the car exploded. Then they brandished their weapons and shot toward the strangers. Trav used the least amount of bullets possible, but Orion wasted round after round. Damn. AJ's going to have to teach you how to aim, kid. You can't spray and pray in real life. This is a game, Orion pouted. He squealed when the corners of the bottom screen flashed with red splotches. What's happening? You got shot. Ajax chuckled. The controller is vibrating too. Yeah, it's supposed to. Hang on, I'll find a medical kit for you. Just take cover somewhere. Where? I can't see anything. Orion cried. When will the controller stop vibrating? When you're healed. It's vibrating to distract you, because getting shot is distracting. Here. Ajax placed his hands over Orion's, helping him to safety and picking off the remainder of the people. His fingers guided Orion's to the right marks. Oh. Thank you. You still need the first aid kit? Yeah, Ajax grunted. He still needs it. Cool. I got it. Go ahead in and steal the money. Okay. Orion navigated his character around the dead bodies and fallen items, completing the mission while Trav searched for first aid kits. The characters met on the street outside the bank. What next? Trav dropped first aid kits on the ground, and Orion's character picked them up. I think I'm done. Orion passed the controller to Ajax. You two play for a bit. All right. Trav nodded. Orion leaned into Ajax as the man wrapped his arms around him, still resting the controller on his slender legs. Orion's eyes drooping as Ajax and Trav discussed their next virtual crime. The boys mowed down pedestrians on the way to their next location, and a sexy, pixelated woman approached the vehicle. Her computer-generated chest bobbed with her movements, and she winked at the 2 men. They ran her over too, snorting with inappropriate laughter. Orion's eyes hooded and closed, and he curled into Ajax as he fell asleep. The rise and fall of Ajax's chest soothed him, and Ajax's muscular arms around him comforted him. He felt more secure, in a room with 2 assassins, than he had ever felt with his family or with his husband. Shit, Ajax grunted. The controller vibrated against Orion's silky thighs. Nothing. Hey, you should probably get him in bed. He's still recovering. Plus, you look tired yourself. Trav exited the game, setting his controller aside. I'll clean up in here. Yeah, been worried about him pulling through. He seems good now though. Yeah, but better if you keep him warm all night, Trav teased. Shut up. Ajax chuckled, lifting Orion in his arms as he stood. Take it easy, man. See ya in the morning. Trav waved Ajax off. Ajax woke before the sun and brushed his lips across the back of Orion's neck. They had spooned all night with the perfectly round globes of Orion's ass cradling Ajax's length and Ajax's arms wrapped around Orion. At some point through the night, the boy used Ajax's arm as a pillow. Their fingers laced together, locking Ajax in place until morning when he had the energy for a protest. He disentangled himself from Orion, tucking the blankets around the boy and leaving the room. He closed the door behind himself with a soft click. He slinked into the living room and stuffed his feet in worn tennis shoes, throwing on his jacket and pulling a skull cap over his wild curls. He tucked Trav's spare key in the pockets of his lounge pants, the sacred and necessary barrier between Orion's bare ass and his cock. He ran 2 figure-8 laps around Trav's house before peeling his jacket off, tying it around his waist and running 5 more laps. Running cleared his mind. It released the tight balls of pent-up energy brewing under his guise of control. Ajax showered after his run, washing the sweat from his body, and then returned to the main room, opening one of the laptops. "Mornin', bro," Trav called, drying his own damp hair as he entered the main room. "Whatcha lookin' at?" "Reading the news." Ajax tapped the keyboard. "Looking for articles on the job?" "Yeah. It's been pretty hush-hush, actually. I kept an eye on it after you called me about the ID package." "Thanks." Ajax closed the laptop, running his hands down his face. "So what's the deal?" "Don't know." "I mean, why didn't you off him and move on?" "I don't know," Ajax growled. "He had bruises, and he looked so pathetic." "What do you mean?" "I mean, he didn't really beg for his life. He asked, like anyone would, but it was like he expected it." And I don't know. It bothered me." "So you broke the rules and ran off with him?" "Look. He wasn't part of it. Not like I'm some Robin Hood stealing from the rich and only killing bad people, but damn it, I watched them for a month. His piece of shit husband fucked with him every morning. Woke him up and had his way." "Yeah." Trav frowned, opening the refrigerator and retrieving the box of pizza from the night before. "It's whatever. He'll do fine in our lifestyle." "What about his family? What if they ever find out he's alive?" "They won't." "Right? You're playing with fire. And you could take us all down with you, Our whole world because your dick got hard at the wrong possible time." "What?" "Dude. You don't get soft. I've known you since we could walk, and sympathy isn't an emotion you possess. Tell me you didn't get excited watching him get raped." Ajax grabbed a slice of pizza. "I'm not going to fuck with him." "Not what I asked." "Because you already know the answer. I'm not going to sleep with him." "He wants you to." "Yeah. I'm aware. And I think you like him too." "Whatever. You want to go out tonight? Hit a club or party or something?" "What? You don't want to hang out and play video games all night again?" Trav grinned. "Nah, I thought you'd enjoy being normal for a while. Maybe actually get your rocks off, or are you enjoying the 5-finger knuckle shuffle?" Ajax mirrored Trav's grin. His brown eyes glittered. "I don't have to go out for it. I'm sure Orion would suck me off if given the soonHe." Ajax threw Trav into the wall, balling the other man's shirt in his fist. His playful eyes turned cold. "Try again," he exhaled in a growl. Thought he was free game. Trav grunted as his back hit the wall. "He's not game. He's off limits." Trav turned his head to the side, and Ajax let go of him after slamming him into the wall again. Fine, dude. Chill. You said you didn't want him. Trav adjusted the stretched neck of his shirt. I said I wasn't going to fuck with him. There's a difference. Right? The difference is you're in love with him, but you're too macho manly man to admit it. You don't want to admit you knew he was the one as soon as you saw him. Yeah, because fairy tales and instant love doesn't exist. It's bullshit. Lie to yourself all you want, but don't beat me up for it. Sorry. Ajax's beast stirred inside him, turning in the pit of his stomach. We'll have to leave after lunch if we want to party in the next town over. Yeah. We can take my car. Your old beat-up thing has seen better days and won't help us get laid. Ajax's playfulness returned gradually. The darkness in his eyes lifting to a rich brown, cradled by the golden sunlight spilling into the room. Yeah, well. My car gets the job done. True. It's pretty damn stealth. What do you do with all the money you make? I save it. For what? The apocalypse? Trav chuckled, eyebrows curving around kind eyes. The sound of a door creaking open pulled Ajax's attention to the hallway, and his eyes met Orion's when he entered the main room. Still in his sleep clothes, Orion paused at the door and crossed his bare legs at the ankle. His briefs hung on his hips, and one of Ajax's huge black shirts rested on slim shoulders. Hi, Orion whispered, meeting Ajax's eyes before smiling to Trav. Mornin' kid. Want some cold pizza? Trav motioned to the open pizza box. How do you feel? Ajax crooked his fingers, beckoning Orion closer. Fine. Ajax touched the backs of his fingers to Orion's forehead and to his cheeks. Good. You want to come out to the club with us? Trav looked at Orion. He's staying here. No, I want to go. It sounds fun. Orion's clapped his hands together. He rested them on Ajax's hips, leaning forward. Please? I feel good. I'm healthy. I want to come with you guys. You're gonna make him beg, man? Ajax groaned in his throat, clenching his jaws. It's dangerous. Please? Orion slid his hands up to Ajax's shoulders and snaked closer. He mashed his hips against Ajax and twined his fingers in the man's feral curls. Ajax's decision lingered on firm lips and a tight jaw. He clicked his teeth together. Fine. Go get dressed, we have to leave soon because it's a long drive. We'll get hotels for the night. I'll pack a bag. No bag. You don't need one. But what about my morning skincare routine? You don't have one. Orion rolled his eyes, tipping his head to the side with a little smile. How do you know? Because we didn't buy anything. I took things from the hotels. Damn. Fucking resourceful, Trav called. Fine. Take your bag then. Thank you. Orion beamed, hugging Ajax around the neck. His hands slithered across his shoulders, and his face nuzzled against the other man's skin. I will be ready in an hour. I don't. Ajax clenched his jaws. Fine. Just go. Orion batted his eyelashes as he slipped away. Chuckling, he sauntered down the hall. Ajax watched. Yeah. You're whipped, dude. Whatever. You're driving. Ajax stole a piece of pizza and followed Orion down the hall. He knocked before walking into the bedroom they shared, leaning against the wall beside the door. Orion had emptied his backpack on the bed, revealing a scattered lot of small travel lotions, shampoos, and soap bars. He had a pack of disposable razors and individual packets of hair dye as well. When Ajax entered, his cheeks filled with color, and he picked at the items on the bed. Razors. The convenience store when we got my father's money. Wait. You stole these? Ajax crossed the room in an instant, snatching up the pack of razors and waving it in front of Orion. Why, yes. And the hair dye? He picked those up in his other hand. Why, yes. For later when I have to bleach my hair again. I wanted the gray. Why? Why what? Why'd you steal them? Orion recoiled, shoulders slumping. He shrank in front of Ajax. He shielded his sensitive parts, tucking his hands between his thighs and curving his back. I don't know. Look at me. Orion shuddered, shutting his eyes tight. I'm sorry. Please. Ajax growled, rolling his shoulders. The muscles in his tight jawline ticked. We don't steal. He threw the items back on the bed. Ever. Oh. Orion covered his face with his hands, pinching his eyes closed as his bottom lip quaked. I'm sorry. I just thought I didn't know. He hiccuped, and his voice broke. Don't cry. Good God, don't cry. Orion pinched his eyes harder and bent forward, burrowing his face in his thighs. Don't be mad at me. Ajax sighed. I'm not mad. You scared me. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. You're going to donate these, so don't use them. De-donate? Yeah, to people less fortunate than you. Less fortunate? Orion sobbed. Yeah. People who are homeless with no money. Who wouldn't even think to steal razors and hair dye because they're busy stealing food and tampons. Those people. Orion paused, sucking back his tears as he uncurled from his bent position and looked at Ajax. He wiped his blotchy face, turning glassy green eyes to the other man. Oh, okay. Good. I didn't realize. Yeah, it's fine. Come here. Orion hobbled over to Ajax on shaky legs. Why, yes. Ajax wiped the boy's tears, thumbs swiping under his eyes and cradling his face. You're fine, he promised. I'm not angry. His thumb brushed over Orion's lips and down his chin before falling away. Get ready so we can go. Why, yes. Orion kissed his thumb. I'll be in the living room. Okay. Ajax rolled his shoulders again and stalked out of the bedroom, closing the door behind him. He exhaled as he collapsed onto the couch beside Trav. The local news played on the television. A bubbly newscaster highlighted the 10-day forecast, predicting the first snow of the season. She's always wrong about it. Trav shook his beer at the television. Won't snow for another few weeks. Figures. Trouble in paradise? It's fine. I don't want to talk about it. All right. You planning to get some action tonight? Always. You? Yeah. Now since you brought it up, my mouth is watering for some pussy. Too much information. Ajax sipped Trav's beer, thefting it from his hands while he spoke. Yeah, but you know how it is when you get a taste for something. Sure, but I don't want to hear about your taste for pussy like it's a cupcake or something. Yeah, okay. You ever had a threesome? Yeah. Several. Why? 2 dudes or 2 girls? The second. Why? Just wondering. I saw an ad for a couple looking for a third person. You can't. Ajax sighed. If you're going to get all crazy, you need to pick someone who already knows about our life. What about Mila? Oh. There's this new chick, Leah. You fuck her? Who, Mila? Hell yeah. No, the other girl. Oh. Yeah, nah. I passed. Huh. Maybe I should hit the bar one of these days soon. Maybe, if you're thinking about blowing your cover for sex. Dude, it was a thought. Wait. You ever done a threesome with all 3 dudes? No. Not into it, huh? Opportunity hasn't come up. Huh. Trav grabbed his beer back, guzzling it as his eyebrows knit in thought. What? I was thinking like, if you're bisexual, how do you know when you want cock or tits? Dude, you're fucking stupid. No, seriously though. Like, do you wake up and want to squeeze some tits? You wake up and you want to suck some dick? I'm not answering your questions. Oh, come on. You ever been fucked before? Shush, no. Shut the fuck up, dumbass. Ajax grinned, taking the last swallow of Trav's beer. You spend too much time thinking about me and what I do with my dick. Trav laughed. I'm curious. It's a nerd thing, I guess. I guess. Let's play a round on Capital Crime City. Ajax picked up a controller and leaned back into the couch, propping his feet on the coffee table. They stole 2 police cars, committed 2 armed robberies, and 1 jewelry store heist before Orion joined them. Lavender and orange tickled Ajax's nose as Orion leaned over the couch. Does my hair look okay? I'm trying to grow it out, but it's in such an awkward stage. He pawed at the edges. Looks fine. Ajax turned off the console, discarding the controller. You didn't look, but okay. Orion lingered by the door as Ajax and Trav finished getting ready. Both men did a quick clothing change. Ajax changed from black jeans and a black shirt to skinny black jeans and a slightly fitted black shirt. Trav's more festive attire consisted of a striped shirt and bright-colored slacks, making him look even brawnier than he was. Trav grabbed his keys and shoved his feet in worn steel-toed boots. We're going out the back way. Oh, right. Orion skipped after the 2 larger men. Trav opened the door off the kitchen and led them down to the garage. Orion walked between the taller men and Ajax locked the house. Ajax sat in the front, leaving the whole back seat to Orion, who stretched across it once they started on their journey. Orion pulled a web design textbook from his backpack and spread it across his lap. Where'd you get the book? Ajax glanced to the back seat. Oh, it's Trav's. He gave it to me with the computer. Yeah, and there are plenty more books when you're ready. Trav smirked, turning the radio on and inching up the volume until fast-paced music blared through the speakers. The music vibrated the car, shaking the mirrors with each drum of bass. The singer spewed expert lines of witty lyrics over the beat. I love this song, Ajax yelled to Trav before laying his voice over the artist's. He repeated the words with the same intensity, emphasizing the phrases with hand motions. Hey. Who sings this song? Lil Breezy, I think. Yeah, and it should stay that way. Trav's grin split his face in half. His eyes danced. Yeah. You're feeling your oats, son. Ajax punched Trav's shoulder and the car swerved on the road. Trav laughed. Fuck, D used to say that all the time. He jerked the wheel the other direction, swerving again. Oh my god. Hey. Orion glared at Ajax, kicking the back of his seat. Can you 2 stop acting like children? What? Ajax turned his head, peering into the back seat. Stop it. And turn the music down a little? I can't focus. Put the book away and have some fun. Trav peeked at Orion through the rearview mirror. Come on. We're going to a club, not the library. Trav turned the radio down. Thank you. No problem, dork. Trav winked at him, then he looked at Ajax. So you're headed up Ricky's way next, right? Yeah. Thinking we'll leave in 2 days, on Monday. He said he had a quick job for me. Shouldn't be anything too difficult. Yeah, probably a simple heist. Ricky takes care of his business. Though I heard something through the grapevine. About Ricky? Yeah. I heard he's got a family. No way. Who'd you hear from? I heard it from Ellis. He stopped by a few months ago, needing a new identification package, and he hinted at it. Ellis isn't really a reliable source of information, though. Ajax shrugged. I know he's not, but why would he lie on this one? He didn't even quite say it aloud. He said Ricky was getting too comfortable with his location. And remember a few years ago, when he was Mia for about 2 weeks? Yeah. Ellis thinks he got married and was on his honeymoon. Yeah, right. Ajax snorted. Seriously though. It adds up. He's getting older. He's been in the same location for years. Nearly a decade. You think he wouldn't eventually meet someone? Some old Nancy from the convenience store on Main and 5th. Maybe. Hope she's not named Nancy though. You should ask when you go up there. Hell no. He wouldn't tell me shit. Yeah, he would. You're his favorite. You've always been. You think I'm everyone's favorite. Because you are. Damn. Ricky loves you. Jake loves you. Dee loved ya. Well, Dee adopted me, so he was supposed to. And you're the only one of us Dee adopted, too. I guess. He only did it because I was the top of the class. Whatever, man. Trav shook his head, still grinning. Ask Ricky about his wife and tell me what he says. I'll think about it. Ajax pushed his seat back and stretched his arms behind his head, closing his eyes. Hey, I bootlegged some copies of Forever Furious and Forever Furious Reloaded. We could watch 'em maybe tomorrow before you get on the road again. Ajax grunted. I know you think they're dumb, but I like action movies. Besides, these are actually better than most action movies. They have a plot they carry through both movies. It's not just crashing cars and blowing things up. Aha! Ajax kicked his boots off and rested his feet on the dashboard. Those are the movies with Miguel Costa in them, right? Orion asked, glancing between Trav and Ajax. Yeah. Costa. Did you know he's gay? Trav glanced in the rearview mirror. Yes. Orion sighed. And his body is so sexy. Those are gym muscles. Ajax opened his eyes and sat up. So? What's wrong with gym muscles? Nothing, if you're into it. Don't ask him to lift anything heavy though, he might sprain his big toe. Oh, okay. Orion rolled his eyes. Jealous? No. I got muscles. Yeah, but his bronze skin and like his 8-pack. Really? Orion nodded, a mischievous sparkle in his pale green eyes. Aha! The boy wet his lips as he watched Ajax. And his cut lines. You're making AJ jealous, Trav teased. Am I? No. It don't matter anyway, Ajax grumbled. He has a workout video. Maybe you should download an illegal copy of it too. Zing! Trav howled. Yeah, okay. You know I don't need a workout video. You don't? Orion's full lips spread in a toothy grin, and he pressed his tongue to the back of his pearly white teeth. I don't remember. Ha. Maybe you should show him. Dude? Whose side are you on here? Ajax cut his eyes to his friend. His. Obviously. Orion preened, lifting one shoulder and wiggling in a charming little dance. Ajax grunted, he won't be able to see in the car. No, I can see fine if you sit up and twist your body a little. This is stupid. Ajax looked at Orion, turning his broad shoulders before twisting the rest of his torso towards the backseat. And it's also inappropriate. Shish. Go on. Let me see your non-gym muscles. Grumbling, Ajax peeled his shirt up, exposing his belly up to his swollen chest. His abs rippled as he flexed them, and the muscles in his chest jumped. There. Too bad I don't have a cell phone. I would take a photo, so I won't forget again. Orion giggled, cheeks igniting with a rich red flame as his eyes raked over Ajax's form. Lucky me. Ajax dropped his shirt and relaxed in his seat again. Dude? He ain't got a cell phone? No. I get you're trying to be safe and all, but he needs something. For emergencies or in case y'all get separated. He'll call his family. How do you know? Because he loves his sisters. Dude? So basically, you don't trust him? I wouldn't call my sisters, Orion protested, warmth fading from his young features. I miss them so much, but I wouldn't call. I promise. And I don't believe you. This is why you have no cell phone. You're gonna have to trust him sooner or later. He's not a prisoner, you know. I know he's not a prisoner. I got one he can take back at the house. It's a smartphone, but I targeted the IP address to somewhere in China. No point in looking for it there, you know. Trav chuckled. Thank you. Yeah. Fine. I'm a nap the rest of the ride. Sure. We got about 30 minutes left. Wake me up when we get to the hotel. Ajax covered his face with his jacket and closed his eyes, listening to Trav and Orion launch into a discussion of the various design languages. Ajax listened to their voices as he faded in and out of sleep. We're here. Trav's sing-song voice emanated in Ajax's skull, and he opened his eyes to an endless row of red doors on a tan building. Ajax grunted, rubbing his forehead with his arm. He shielded his eyes from the sunlight surrounding them. Sleep well? Trav turned off the engine, leaving his keys inside the ignition. Another grunt. I already got our rooms. One for me. One for you and Orion. He's already got the key. It's room 138. I'm room 136. Okay. So, we got a couple hours to kill. I'm a nap, and I'll call you later tonight, okay? Sure. They climbed out of the vehicle as Trav pulled the keys from the ignition and wandered to their respective rooms. Ajax slammed the front door to the single-bed hotel room and raked his fingers through his matted curls. Sleepy eyes searched the room. Orion? I'm about to shower, he called from the bathroom, popping his head out of the cracked door. His chest and shoulders were bare and diluted with freckles. You still look exhausted. You should nap. Yeah. Ajax collapsed into the bed, burying his head in the pillows. He woke several hours later with his arms roped around Orion. He breathed in the subtle scent of lavender and orange before sighing and opening his eyes. He studied the hazy red numbers on the standard issue alarm clock over Orion's shoulder. 8:39. He closed his eyes again, inhaling and exhaling slow, calculated breaths. 9:07. Orion stirred in his sleep, rolling from his back to his side. He tucked his hands between their bodies, weaving his leg around Ajax's and nestling his head in the crook of the man's arm. We need our own beds, Ajax muttered. His phone buzzed in his pocket, and he pulled it out, lifting his hips from the bed. He rested it on the pillow. AJ? Trav's groggy voice floated out of the receiver. Yeah. Just woke up? Gimme 'bout an hour, and I'll be ready. All right. Ajax spent the first half of the hour waking Orion, who moaned and groaned until he finally rubbed sleep from his eyes. He spent the second half of the hour watching Orion race around the room. Orion pressed his hair straight with the hotel's iron, adding a slight wave to the ends. Then he switched back and forth from his jeans to his shorts, styling each and surveying himself in the mirror. What do you think? Shorts or jeans? He looked over his slender shoulder at Ajax. What? Jeans? Orion dropped the shorts to his ankles, stepping out of them and into his jeans again. Why? It's cold outside, so your legs should be warm. Wow. Logic. Orion shook his head as he finished getting dressed. He waited by the door as Ajax splashed water on his face, ran a travel-sized toothbrush over his teeth, and shoved his feet back in his heavy steel-toed boots. The club was in the heart of the city, 10 minutes from the hotel, and the booming vibrations shook the car as they turned onto the busy street. The club lived at the end of the street, and vibrations grew stronger as they cruised, shaking the mirrors and jingling Trav's keys. The boys walked in together, but Trav beelined to the dance floor after they flashed their identification cards to the stocky bouncer. Ajax circled the crowd, bored eyes charting the sea of people like stars in the night sky. He navigated through clusters until he reached the bar, taking a seat. Orion climbed into the seat next to him. Buy me a drink. He leaned close, yelling over the blaring music, and sat back after his request. Ajax smirked, leaning forward and touching his cheek to Orion's. They don't serve chocolate milk here. Orion's features puckered. He hollowed his cheeks, folding his arms across his chest. What can I get for you guys? A skinny bartender approached them, brushing thick black hair from in front of her square glasses. She smiled at Ajax, and silver piercings dimpled her cheeks. Ajax grinned back. Whatever stout you have. And rum and coke for my friend. Sure thing. Hi, cutie. She winked at Orion and bobbed her head to the music as she fixed their drinks. Hi. Orion shrugged his shoulders, looking helplessly towards Ajax. What is it? Ajax dropped several bills on the counter, enough for their drinks and a hefty tip. I've never been to a place like this before. Oh, right. Country club. Orion nodded, taking a shallow sip of his drink when the bartender placed it in front of him. Can I get you guys anything else? We're good right now. Alright, I'll close y'all's tab. Let me know if you need anything. She tapped her pointed nails on the bar counter, giving another fluttery smile to Ajax before sauntering to the next patron. Her curly hair bounced with each step. Ajax swallowed big gulps of his beer, letting the smoky warmth relax his muscles. The club's strobing lights danced over the bar counter, moving fast and slow with the tempo of the songs. Orion traced the rim of his drink, shoulders still touching his ears. The alcohol hadn't relaxed him yet. How's your drink? Good, thank you. Orion's cheeks colored, and a fan of dark eyelashes touched them. The redness to his high cheekbones rippled down his neck, fading into the classic round neckline of his t-shirt. Cool. I'm a dance when I finish my drink. Okay. You dance when you finish yours. I've never danced at a club before. It's simple. Enjoy the music. Enjoy your dance partner. Have fun. Ajax guzzled the last half of his beer, setting the glass down with a satisfied sigh. All right. You need anything, come find me. I'll be around here somewhere. Oh. Okay. Yes, of course. Orion's cheeks blazed again, and he laced his fingers together, tucking his clasped hands between his slender thighs. Ajax slipped from his stool as an upbeat song blared through the speakers, and the strobing lights created a new pattern, zigzagging over the clubgoers' faces. He found himself dancing with a girl covered in tattoos and piercings with glowing yellow hair. She flashed him a sultry smile, her hazel eyes meeting his briefly before she swirled her hips over his lap. As the songs changed, so did Ajax's dance partners. The yellow-haired girl was first, then he danced past a man with spiked hair and a chain necklace, stealing his petite girlfriend for a slow-paced song. Ah, fuck. X makes me so horny, the girl groaned, throwing an arm around Ajax and curling into him. She nuzzled his neck, and the raw ends of her rainbow-colored hair tickled him. And so thirsty. Ah, yeah. The man with the spiked hair sandwiched her between him and Ajax, and dotted kisses down her neck. I'll get you a water, baby. And you should probably sit down, Ajax rumbled, taking his cues from the other man and resting a hand on her pinched waist. She brushed her sweaty hair back from her eyes. You're so beautiful, she whispered. Your skin glows like yellow and burnt orange with a little bit of blue. Yeah? She twirled around him, pushing her shoulders into his firm chest and throwing her hands in the air. A liquid smile flowed onto her face, and she combed her fingers through Ajax's ringlet curls, fraying the ends. Yes. Ah, and this music. It makes me so happy. Dancing makes me so happy. And being with you and talking to you. How long have you been dancing? Hands pet down her sides. Oh. Hours, I think. Oh yeah? Come sit with me while your boyfriend gets water. Aw. Okay. Giggling, she followed Ajax through the crowd, plopping into his lap when he melted into an empty love seat. I have extras, if you want one. I want to give you something because you're so beautiful. Yeah, sure. She flailed in his lap, digging multicolored pills out of her pocket and dropping the collection in Ajax's hand. She poked her tongue out the corner of her mouth as she studied the pills. I think I like this one. She showed Ajax a pale blue pill printed with a butterfly. It's a pretty one, Ajax confirmed, petting up and down her back. Her fingers wiggled over the pills before she grabbed a white one with a red heart and a mottled periwinkle one stamped with an omega symbol. You should take these. She put the 2 pills in Ajax's other outstretched hand, putting the rest away. Thanks. Let's take them at the same time. Her hand trailed up his chest. Yeah. Ajax agreed, holding up the Periwinkle Omega pill. Ready? She giggled. Yes. He dropped the pill on his tongue, and she sucked hers into her mouth. Did I tell you your skin is so beautiful? I did, didn't I? I love your curls. She ran her fingers through his hair again. I want to know everything about you. What's your name? Axel. Oh, Axel is a beautiful name. My name is Sarah with an H on the end. My boyfriend's name is Vance. We've been together for almost 3 years, but I don't know if it's really going to work out forever, you know. Sarah crossed her legs as Vance reached them with 3 bottles of water in his arms. Here, baby, Vance cooed, setting the bottles down and snatching Sarah into a kiss. He explored her mouth desperately. I missed you. I missed you too. She smiled, patting Ajax's chest. This is Axel. I got you a water too. Vance set the bottle next to Ajax's hand, before returning his focus to Sarah, combing her short hair and touching her pink skin. He murmured sweet words to her, and they fell into a sweet kiss after her buoyant approval. Ajax closed his eyes as the drug started taking effect. The little blue pill injected air into his veins, and a feeling of lightness replaced his heavy thoughts. When he opened his eyes again, the world was crystal clear. Sarah's hazel eyes glowed with rich browns, light yellows, and small flakes of green, the same pale green of Orion's eyes. How do you feel? Her laugh was musical, the sound of pure happiness. Good. Really good, actually. Do you want to dance some more? Before he could answer one way or the other, she grabbed his hand and led him back onto the dance floor, moving through the crowd with an ethereal grace. His body flowed around hers, hands finding her hips and smoothing over her taut skin. I'm in love, Ajax yelled over the music, lips caressing her ear. His nose trailed the length of her jawline. Me too. Isn't it an amazing feeling? Yeah. It's a guy. I'm in love with a guy. Sexy. How long have you known him? A few weeks officially. I saved his life. I met him when I saved his life. You're a hero then. She beamed up at Ajax. I guess. I don't feel heroic, but I try very hard to be a good person. I don't steal. I only kill when I have to, but I've never been in love before, and it scares me. Why? Don't you want to be with someone who understands you and appreciates you? Yeah. His name is Orion, like the constellation. It's Greek. Axel and Orion. Your names sound pretty together. It's meant to be. He's amazing. So far, I think. Pretty green eyes. He has brown hair, but he dyes it blonde right now. He's really smart too. Good with computers. He's a good partner. Good. Everyone needs a good partner in crime, you know? You should tell him how you feel. I should, Ajax agreed. I'm going to go find Vance, okay, sexy? Yeah. Sarah drifted away from Ajax as the current song blended into a new one, leaving him alone on the vibrating dance floor. The lime green and lemon yellow lights shined over smiling faces, irradiating them in the hazy blackness. Ajax read their faces and absorbed their emotions. He swallowed feelings of betrayal as he bumped shoulders with a distressed man also deserted in the club. Ajax apologized, squeezing his shoulder before moving on. A dark-haired woman grabbed his attention next, her purple eyes drawing him closer, luring him into treacherous waters. He swam to her shore, grinning boyishly when she smiled. Hi. Her eyes wrinkled at the corners as her smile spread on her face. Hi. Oh shit. Bathroom. I'll be back. Ajax stumbled away from the girl, fighting the crowd to the bathroom where he stood in front of a stained urinal attached to a grungy wall covered in newspaper clippings. He glanced at the ceiling, then rolled his eyes as he waited until his bladder synced with his brain. Even a piss was magical. A profound wave of relief washed over Ajax. His shoulders sagged, and he rested his forehead on the wall, reading the black and white headline to a faded newspaper clipping. The wall was frigid, and it spread icicles through his body, cooling his blazing skin and freezing his veins. Ajax returned to the main room, scanning the area. He wet his lips and floated to the bar, sitting in the seat he occupied earlier. "Can I get a water?" The same bartender served him. Her silver piercings reflected the neon green lights. "Sure thing." "Hey, I remember you. I wanted to tell you, you're very pretty." Ajax sipped his drink. "For a woman, anyway." The bartender rolled her eyes. "Your friend has been looking for you." "Who?" "The little cute one. I never got his name, but he went that way looking for you." She tipped her chin towards the left side of the club. "He was getting worried too." "Yeah. I'm in love with him." "I have been since the first time I met him," Ajax blurted out. "It's his green eyes. And when he smiles, I thought you were." The bartender polished clean glasses as she lingered near Ajax. "I've never been in love before, but it's an amazing feeling. Like invincibility. Have you ever met someone who makes you want to be different? Not because they're forcing you, but because you want to be the kind of person to make them proud of you?" "Yeah, actually. My stepfather." "Hang on." She stocked the glasses away on the shelf behind her. "He met my mom when I was 10, and he was the first man to ever really care for me." Ajax nodded. "Yeah." He memorized the woman's features, her thick eyebrows framing her almond eyes, the graceful slope of her wide nose. "Yeah. He's the kind of guy who will give his last dollar to a homeless person, and then turn around and donate his time. I want to be half the person he is." Her face softened, a smile spread across her full lips as she glanced down at the bar counter. The adoration shined in her brown eyes. "Anyway, don't let me keep you. Go find your man." "Your stepfather sounds amazing." "Oh, right. Yeah. Thanks for the water." Ajax downed the last swallow, leaving a $2 tip. He dove back into the crowd, scanning for Orion's brilliant green eyes. He abandoned his dedicated search when a familiar song boomed through the speakers, and his limbs moved independently, annexed from the central control center in his brain. His arms swayed, his hips swirled, and the lights grooved with him. "Nice moves?" A voice greeted him from behind. "Oh, thanks?" Ajax turned and froze, shivering down to his toes. He looked into Orion's glowing green eyes as his heart skipped a beat, and his breath stuttered. "Oh, Orion. I was looking for you." Ajax watched Orion's lips stretch and pucker around his words. He smirked. "Yeah, the bartender told me. She sent me over here to find you. Do you want to dance?" "Ah. Why yes. Sure." Orion shook his hips, making a half-commitment to the music. "I saw you out here earlier. Did you make friends?" "Yeah, I did." "Hey, you have pretty eyes." "Thank you." "Mostly green." "A really pale green but brown around the pupil," Ajax explained, still studying Orion's features. "And soft skin." He touched the boy's face, lifting his chin. "Thank you." Color filled Orion's cheeks and goosebumps rose on his skin. Orion flicked his eyes up to Ajax's face. Fireworks exploded, framing the boy's square face. Orion broke their eye contact. His fingers roamed over Orion's hollowed cheeks, across his square jawline, and over pouty lips. They floated down, latticing Orion's fingers with his and squeezing his hands. "I'm sorry." Ajax was the leader of their slow dance, stepping to the left and to the right. "About what?" "About everything. Everything you've been through with your husband and your father. I'm sorry I killed him in front of you. I didn't want you to see it, but I didn't want to miss my shot. I couldn't wait any longer." "Okay." Orion recoiled into himself, shrugging his shoulders up and closing his eyes. "I didn't want to see him take advantage of you anymore. It filled me with rage seeing you with him. Can I tell you a secret?" Orion leaned into Ajax, wiggling his hands away and sliding them up Ajax's toned body. His fingers clasped behind the taller man's neck, Yes. What's your secret? I thought I was dead inside, until I saw you again. Ajax tipped his head forward, hiding his nose in Orion's blonde hair. Until I met you. And then my body woke up. Your dick got hard? Ajax chuckled, shading his eyes. It did, but I wasn't talking about my dick. I mean everything else. I've traveled alone for years. I've killed more people than I want to admit. He paused, hands skating up and down Orion's sides. How many? I forget the number. It's double digits. His fingers disappeared under Orion's shirt, calloused hands roaming over him. Does it scare you? No. It makes me feel safer. Good. I would die to keep you safe. And everything I have is yours too. Your old car and some weapons? My money, my home, my land, my heart. Your heart? Orion giggled. Are you high? Because I want to talk about my feelings, you think I'm high? Yes. He giggled more, combing the base of Ajax's neck. But I like it, hearing you talk about your feelings. I'm bad at it normally, I know. I never know when to say things. I mean, when we're all laughing and playing video games, should I tell you you're beautiful? Should I tell you I love the way your eyes sparkle when you smile? Or is it a bad time? Always tell me right in the moment. Orion arched on his toes, aligning his hips with Ajax's, pressing his modest length into Ajax's body. Like right now. What are you thinking? And now? Ajax groaned, fingers walking over Orion's ass. He cupped one firm cheek in each hand and lifted him closer. Now, I think you smell wonderful. Like gardenias and cinnamon, and a little musky from sweating. I'm thinking we should get somewhere private. Like where? Orion curled his fingers in Ajax's hair. Ajax sucked his bottom lip, glancing around the club and then back at Orion. Perhaps the hotel room? Perhaps. Or somewhere closer. The bathroom? Orion lifted his dark eyebrows into his forehead. Ajax's cock sprang to life, straining against his fitted jeans. Hang on. Why? Because I want to do something first. Ajax snaked his hands out of Orion's shirt and cupped his face. Coarse thumbs stroked Orion's rosy cheeks. Do what? Orion placed a hand over Ajax's. This. He tipped the boy's chin up and advanced on him, bending his head forward in increments. Orion's warm breath puffed against his lips before he closed the space between them, touching his lips to Orion's. His kiss was achingly gentle and his heart soared. Ajax retreated, exhaling in a low rumble before pressing their lips together again. He was rougher this time, and he caressed Orion's tongue with his own. One hand slid from Orion's cheek to the back of his head, while the other fell to Orion's hips. Orion gripped the hem of Ajax's shirt, as the second kiss blended into the third and fourth kiss too. Orion unsealed their lips after the fourth kiss, gasping for breath. I'll get a taxi back to the hotel. Oh. Why yes, okay. Orion bit the meat of his finger, as Ajax stepped off the dance floor and pulled his phone out of his pocket. They kept their eyes on each other, as Ajax paced with a phone to his ear. Orion shifted his weight from one foot to the other in the middle of the dance floor. Ajax returned to his side after the call. 10 minutes. Kiss me again. All right. Ajax obliged, meshing their lips together. He teased the sturdy rim of Orion's jeans, fingers slipping under the black-dyed denim. Ajax's nails dented his soft skin, and Ajax groaned. Fuck. Why yes. We could. I want to. Ajax gave Orion's ass another firm squeeze. But I won't. Why not? Because you're young, and you don't need to be in another relationship. I want you to develop your own desires, likes and dislikes without my influence. I know what I like. You do. Ajax kissed him. Yes. Tell me then. Here? In the middle of a club? Orion protested, biting his bottom lip. 1 for 1? One thing you like for one thing I like. Sexually. Okay. Orion continued chewing his bottom lip. I like having sex. Ajax chuckled, dotting kisses up Orion's jawline to his ear. I like sucking dick. Orion squirmed in Ajax's arms, thigh muscles jumping at his confession. What kind? What kind of dick? Why yes? I'm not good at talking dirty. Ah. Then, I guess I should have been clearer. I want to suck yours. Oh. Mine? Would you let me? Why yes. Of course, Orion squeaked, balling his hands into fists in Ajax's shirt. You would get on your knees in front of me? That's a different question. I don't have to be on my knees to suck you off. Oh. God. See, can we go? Where's the taxi? We can go wait outside in a moment. Would you want me on my knees in front of you? Aye. Maybe? You're too much right now. I can't think. All right. Ajax kissed Orion's forehead and followed him out the club's entrance. They slid into a yellow and black taxi and issued the driver directions to their hotel. What about Trav? He's an adult, he'll find his way home. Ajax eyed the racing numbers on the taximeter before dragging his eyes back to Orion's face. What? Nothing. I like how the moonlight shines against your skin and your eyes. It makes them softer, like deep pools of lagoon water. Ah. Okay, seriously, what are you on and do you have more? I have another pill, but I don't know what it is. Ajax dug in his pocket, pulling out the white pill with a heart. I'm guessing it's caffeine and sugar, but I didn't ask. You didn't ask? Ajax? What? You can't take it. I want you to throw it away. Shish. It's fine. He brushed his lips along Orion's hairline, kissing the boy's temple. I've done stuff much worse. Ajax handed the taxi driver bills for the fare and the tip as they pulled into the hotel parking lot. Room 138. Orion offered, and the driver wheeled around to the door. Thank you. Ajax shed his clothes as soon as the hotel door closed behind them. He peeled his shirt over his head and dropped his jeans to the floor, kicking off his boots. Lay down with me. Ajax trailed his hand over the 200 thread count sheets. They felt velvety soft in contrast with his sandpaper rough hands. Tell me what drug you took first. Orion clasped his hands behind his back, eyeing Ajax. He stepped around the bed, leaving several feet of space between them despite their earlier closeness. Ajax grunted, relaxing onto his back. Molly. Is she the one who gave it to you? No. The drug is Molly. MDMA. Ecstasy. Oh. It's safe to take. No, it's illegal, but as long as you do it right, you'll be fine. Do it right? Don't take another before the effects of the first start. Drink water. Take dancing breaks. The usual. He stretched his hand to Orion. And it makes you talk a lot? It makes me say stuff I wouldn't say otherwise. Like, I want us to be a team. I think we could make a very good one once you're trained. I don't want you to get hurt. I know, and I'm not. See? I'm fine. I'd be better if you'd join me. Orion sighed. Okay. Furrowing his eyebrows, he peeled his jeans off and moved to the side of the bed, taking Ajax's hand. Jake told me about when Dee died. Ajax closed his eyes as he pulled Orion into him, threading his fingers through Orion's. Yeah? When you got into heavy drugs? Yeah. What about it? Orion shrugged. Nothing, I guess. I wanted you to know I knew about it. Do you want to talk about it? He died on a job, Dee. I think he was set up, but it's not like an assassin has a long lifespan. He would always tell me the next job was the last one for him, and then he was going to retire and let me take care of him. He said he wanted to see me grow up and have a family. I'm sorry. Don't be. Death is part of the job. Right? D would have liked you, you know. He would have? Yeah, because you're smart and charming. And because I like you. Mainly because I like you, I think. Orion chuckled. Do you know what I want for us? Ajax propped himself up on the bed, peering down at Orion. What? Normalcy. After a few more jobs and maybe 5 years, we could settle down somewhere. You could get a regular job if you wanted, join a book club or whatever. We could have a dog. We could adopt a child. Yeah, but only after years of trying and you failing to get pregnant. Orion rolled his eyes. Years of trying? Yeah. We'll keep trying even after we adopt. Ajax nodded. You're stupid. So tell me, how do you suck dick without getting on your knees? Orion's eyes sparkled. Ajax blinked then grinned. I can show you better than I can tell you. He surged over Orion, gripping the pillows behind the boy's head. Okay. Show me. Ajax curved his back, grinding his hips into Orion's. All right. He kissed him again, lowering down to his elbows and framing Orion's face in his arms. He strained his boxers as he nestled in the dip where Orion's thighs connected to his hips. Orion pressed into Ajax's firm belly, and he fought with his hands, resting them on Ajax's shoulders first, then at his hips until he felt Ajax's tight muscles shudder. He yanked his hands away, grabbing the bed sheets. You can touch me. Anywhere? Yeah. Orion's fingers trailed up Ajax's sides, around to his rippling muscles, over healed scars. His fingers lingered over a puffy scar, just under Ajax's brown nipple. This one is so close to your heart. Yeah. Ajax inched Orion's shirt up, exposing his thin chest and brown nipples. He kissed the center of his chest, and dotted kisses down to his navel. Orion's belly hollowed, and his hips lifted off the hotel bed, high points dimpling Ajax's chest. Ah, sorry. You're fine, Ajax rumbled, teasing the elastic band of Orion's briefs. He ran his lips along the front and let his tongue snake under the tight band, tasting Orion's sweaty skin. Ah. Keep going, please. Orion's hands reached Ajax's shoulders, gripping them as his hips bucked again. Yeah. Ajax inched Orion's waistband down, revealing a pale slice of skin. If I were to go down on you, I would pin you down. Ajax draped a strong arm over Orion's body. And then suck you until your balls are empty. He grabbed the outline of Orion's cock, stroking his length outside his briefs. Why yes. Oh yes. Orion's hands slid up Ajax's neck, resting on his head. His thighs quivered under Ajax's body. Suck me now? No, this is a demonstration. Please? Ajax shook his head but lowered it to Orion's crotch, licking the outside of his briefs from the base of his cock up to the elastic rim. Then he nuzzled into him, ingesting a deep breath of his natural scent into his lungs. Ajax humped the bed, growling as he pressed his lips into the side of the boy's cock. Ah. Then you have to stop, Orion panted, throwing his head back. He studied the ceiling as he writhed under Ajax. Why? Because I might come. Orion lifted his hips again, cock pressing into Ajax's lips. I'll make sure you don't. You know what else I want to do. What? Orion gripped Ajax's hair. Eat your ass. Orion's cock pulsed. The muscles in his belly tightened. Are you going to demonstrate? Sure. He mouthed Orion's cock again, before opening his legs and bending them forward. Ajax squeezed the backs of Orion's thighs as his arousal grew. His own cock pulsed and beaded with moisture inside his underwear. The head peeked out of the waistband. You're excited. Very much. Ajax squeezed Orion's thighs more and dipped his head between his legs, tonguing the fabric over his balls and the valley between his bony ass cheeks. My God, Orion sighed, back arching. His belly hollowed and his toes curled. His breath came in heavy puffs, steady, until Ajax pressed his tongue into him for a second time. And how would you fuck me? Ajax hissed, nails scraping velvety skin as he yanked himself away, sitting back on his heels. He'd created a pool of sticky moisture in the front of his briefs. He chuckled. A demonstration, right? Of course. Orion's eyes flashed up at him. They were deep emerald jewels in the murky light. In one smooth movement, Ajax yanked him to the edge of the bed and flipped him over. One hand gripped Orion's hip. Ajax planted the other above his shoulder. He nestled his cock against the boy and bent over him, kissing his shoulder. Like this. Face down? Ajax jerked Orion's head back by his blonde hair, exposing the slender column of his delicate neck. He kissed him, bit him, and sucked his skin. Is there a problem? No, Orion moaned. There are more positions, of course. Ajax nibbled his speckled shoulder. I think you should demonstrate them all. The path to Ricky's secluded safe house winded around snow-capped mountains and lush evergreen forests. They left Trav's place once the effects of MDMA had worn off, and Ajax had a good night's rest. They traveled north. A layer of pure white snow covered the ground, and naked trees lined their path as they came closer to Ricky's place. Ajax pulled into a superstore the first day of full snow, and they spent the day there replacing all 4 tires and purchasing an affordable winter wardrobe. Ajax purchased joggers, long johns, and a feather-filled down jacket for himself, while Orion spent time designing the best wardrobe with the tools they had. He purchased patterned leggings, a faux leather jacket, and 2 infinity scarves along with a pair of winter boots, galoshes, and 2 oversized sweaters. He smiled at Ajax as he piled the wardrobe additions on the checkout counter. Ajax paid for the clothing items with a scowl on his face and carried the bags to his old white sedan, tucking them in the back seat and driving them to a hotel for the night. They set out early the next morning in their new clothes. Orion donned his patterned leggings, sliding them on and adding his cut-off shorts. He pulled one of Ajax's black shirts over his head and threw on his new leather jacket and new scarf. He rocked back and forth on his heels as Ajax dressed in his usual attire, black jeans, black shirt, black boots. What? Ajax tucked his wallet in his back pocket, along with a black cell phone. You wear the same outfit all the time. Correct. Ajax packed their backpacks, rolling Orion's clothes in tight balls and stuffing them in the shoulder bag. If you keep buying clothes, we'll need a suitcase. I need clothes. Why do you always wear black? Can't see the blood. Wow. I regret asking. Orion grabbed the lighter bag and the key cards once Ajax was packed. He returned the cards to the front desk as Ajax loaded the car, and Ajax met him at the lobby. Orion climbed into the vehicle, closing the door on a burst of chilly wind. If we had a bigger car, we wouldn't have to stay in hotels and risk being discovered. Orion rubbed his hands together, creating warmth between them before tucking them in his thighs. How big a car? Ajax turned the temperature knob all the way to heat, directing the vent to Orion. Like a hatchback or SUV. Too flashy. A hatchback isn't flashy, and we can go to one of the crappy dealerships and pay all cash. If we do exactly asking price, everything would be fine. And then we sleep in the vehicle? Yes. Or camp outside on free land. I don't camp. It feels too much like being homeless. Well, we could sleep in the car. Still feels too much like being homeless. What if we renovated it to be like a camper van? We could put flowery curtains up and have a fold-out bed. Feels too much like being a dirty hippie. Basically, you would rather pay for hotels than sleep in the car. Yeah. Orion folded his arms across his chest. Why? Because I can afford it, and it makes me feel normal. I feel like I'm running if I don't stay in hotels. But you are running. Only from certain jobs. A bank heist wouldn't involve so much running. Why not? Easy job, hard to mess up. Plus this time I made a mistake. Ajax looked at Orion. Right, I know. You could get caught and killed. We could get caught and killed. Oh my God. I know. How long until we get to Ricky's? I'm going to work on my coding. We'll get there tonight. Okay, good. Can I ask you questions about this stuff? I guess you can, but it's been a long time since I've done any coding. Orion chewed his bottom lip as he dug Trav's beginner coding books from under the passenger seat. How long? Close to 10 years. Never had the patience to remember all the stuff. All you really need to remember is prepay phones are hard to trace. Almost impossible when you pay cash and switch phones after jobs. Right? And you can hack security cameras too. Yeah. Look. You can ask me what you want, but you should write down the questions for Ricky. He'll know the answer, and if he doesn't, he knows where to get the answer from. Okay. Orion grabbed the old laptop from under the seat as well. He worked in silence, writing shaky notes in the margins of the book and on the computer. By the time they reached Ricky's estate, Orion had a page of questions Ajax didn't know the answers to, and Ajax had a frustrated frown. A gravel road led them up to Ricky's two-level craftsman home, and an old black and tan hound dog announced their arrival, running alongside the car. He threw his muzzle in the air and bayed. Floppy ears flying in the air, the hound dog trotted up the wooden stairs and assumed his post on the porch, waving his tail over his back. Ah. He's got a dog. Yeah. Booger. He won't bite. Ajax parked next to a massive truck, whistling through his teeth as he climbed out of his car. The dog's bark shifted from ferocious to playful, and he yapped on the way back down the stairs. His huge paws tracking through the snow as he bounded over to Ajax, fitting his square head under the man's hand. Orion tucked his laptop and textbook away, joining Ajax outside. Should you call him? Nah, he's here. He'll be out in a minute. Ajax scratched behind Booger's ear, and the dog leaned against his legs. Oh. As Orion approached Ajax's side, Booger shuffled to his paws, planting all four of them in the muddy snow and waving his tail in the air again. He barked at Orion. Then he paused, lifting his drooping ears. Ignore him. Ajax stepped past Booger. Booger barked again, ears flopping in the air as his front paws hovered over the ground. Are you sure? Orion plastered himself against the side of Ajax's vehicle. Yeah, I'm sure. The dog rumbled, sniffing Orion's leggings. He pressed his cold nose against the fabric, sucking in shallow breaths. I'm scared, the boy whimpered, freezing when the dog touched him. What the actual fuck? Ajax pinched the bridge of his nose before stalking over to Orion, shoving Booger's nose away. Come on, dude. Leave him alone. The dog swayed his whippy tail at Ajax's touch, tongue briefly lolling out of his mouth. He licked his jowls and wet his black nose. I don't think he likes me. Orion hid his face in Ajax's jacket. Yeah, because you're acting scared. I'm not acting. You ain't seen dogs before. Not as big as him, no. Aha. Ajax crouched, slipping an arm around Orion's knees and lifting him over his shoulder. He hooked his strong arm around Orion's leg, securing him in place. Ah. The boy shivered. His crotch pressed into Ajax's shoulder, and his shorts grew tighter. Oh. What? And nothing. This works. Orion's cheeks colored as he grabbed Ajax's shirt. Booger lifted his nose and sniffed the air between Orion's face and his own. Boog. Leave him alone. Ajax tromped up the stairs with Orion over his shoulder and Booger trotting behind him. The dog held his head and tail high in the air as he wiggled past Ajax and pawed at the mesh screen door. He barked and eased back on his haunches, tail kicking dust up from the wooden porch. Orion's excitement increased from Ajax's subtle movements, and he rolled his hips against the man's shoulder. He exhaled in a frustrated groan and slid his hands down the sharp curve of Ajax's back, teasing the gray waistband of Ajax's briefs. Ajax rang the doorbell. Booger pawed at the door several more times. Good God. I'm coming. The dogs finally learned how to press the damn doorbell. A baritone voice approached the door. All right, Boogs. The door flew open. The man holding the handle blinked at Ajax through square black glasses, tilting his head at the upside-down Orion. "Jax, thought you weren't getting up this way for another few days at least. Go on in, Boogie." Ricky scrubbed his salt and pepper hair. Booger pranced inside the house, snuffling around before collapsing on the center of the floor with a grand sigh. "We left a little earlier than planned and made good time on the road." "Why are you carrying him? Did he hurt himself?" "No. He's scared of Boogs." "The old clown. Was he trying to be scary?" Ricky smiled, and wrinkles spidered from the corners of his eyes. "Terrifying." Orion wiggled in Ajax's arms, sliding down his body until pointed toes hit the ground. "This is the kid you were telling me about?" "Yeah. Orion Ricky." "Ricky Orion." Ajax pet down Orion's back, squeezing his hip. "You two are intimate?" Ricky closed the door once the boys stepped inside the house. Orion's cheeks warmed and he shrugged his shoulders, studying rich honey-colored hardwood floor. "We're not." Ricky stared at Orion, his lips quirking into a smile across his clean-shaven face. "I should go unload the car," Orion whispered to Ajax. "No, I'll unload the car. You stay here." Ajax ran a hand through Orion's hair and opened the door again. "Come on, Boogs," he called to the dog who jumped up from a dead sleep and bounded after him. Orion lifted his chin as Ajax exited the log cabin, peering after him until he disappeared down the stairs. He tipped his head back down as he turned back to Ricky, glancing up at the man through thick eyelashes. "You're nervous?" Orion nodded. "I make you uncomfortable?" Orion nodded again. Ricky's features softened as the boy visibly shrank in front of him. "Have you boys been in the car all day? I can make you some tea." "Why, yes. Thank you." The older man smiled, leading Orion through his living room to the kitchen. He poured water into a pot and set it on the stove, turning the knob until blue flames exploded under the burner. The flames tickled the black bottom of the pot and reflected in Ricky's brown eyes. Orion stood in the kitchen doorway, knotting his fingers behind his back and picking at his nail beds. His eyes followed the swirling pattern on the stained wood floor. "You've been through a lot, hum?" "Why, yes. I can't imagine. Traveling with Jax has to be terrible." "You've met Trav?" Orion nodded. "I like him. He gave me a book on website coding and one of his old laptops." He ventured into the kitchen, taking 2 shallow steps into the room. Unlike Trav's kitchen, Ricky's was well stocked with staples, organized, and smelled heavily of frequently used spices. White pepper, citrus, and dill burned his nose. "Ah. Ajax hates technology except for cheap burner phones. I'm glad you're learning coding and hacking." "Thank you." When the water boiled, Ricky poured it into a plain cream mug and dipped a tea bag inside. "Earl Grey is fine." Orion tipped his head down in a quiet nod. "Ajax told me I could ask you questions?" "About hacking." "Of course. I do most of the risky security jobs. Trav, well, he knows the information but he's scared of making mistakes. Fear is paralyzing. Sugar or honey?" "Honey, please." Ricky spooned viscous amber honey into the mug and stirred it. The spoon clinked against the enamel sides of the mug. "I have a question." He approached Orion with the mug, offering it to him. "What did you make for dinner?" "Oh, you smell it?" The older man chuckled. "I made lemon pepper fish with dill and some other spices. I have leftovers, would you like to try some?" Orion bit his bottom lip, lifting the tea to his lips. His stomach rumbled. "I'll warm some for you both. It'll take about 10 minutes. Ricky opened the oven and picked at 2 individually foil-wrapped fish, flaking the meat. He tasted both before curling the foil again. He tucked both pieces back into the oven and turned it on. Jax usually sleeps upstairs in the room at the end of the hall. He probably has some extra clothes back there if you want to change into something more comfortable. He has his own room here? Yes. He'll stay sometimes for a few months. Boogie loves him. I noticed. Ah. If you don't mind, I want to change clothes. Of course not. Take your time. Ricky leaned against the counter, curling thick fingers over the lip. Tea, thank you. For the tea. And for dinner. Orion stepped out of the kitchen and followed the wall around to a winding staircase. A carpet runner draped on the stairs, leading him down the hall to the only open door. Dim light spilled from the room to the hallway, and Orion pushed the door open further, stepping inside. Their things rested on the bare mattress: 2 backpacks, the coding textbook, the old laptop and its makeshift charger. A heavy comforter and worn sheets rested on the corner of the bed, folded and stacked. Orion placed his tea on the tall dresser to the left of the door and moved over to the bed. He collected their belongings, setting the bags on the floor. He sat the textbook and laptop on the side table next to a broken lady's head vase and a simple table lamp. After kicking his shoes off, he stretched the sheets over the bed, tucking the fitted sheet around the curves of the mattress and smoothing the top sheet and comforter over it. He fluffed the pillows after stuffing them into the pillowcases and placed them against the headboard. After arranging the pillows with 2 side by side and the third in the middle of them, Orion stepped backwards and sipped his tea. He opened the closet, revealing an assortment of colorful t-shirts and frayed pants. Damn. So you choose to wear the same thing every day. Orion changed into a pair of cotton lounge pants and a sweatshirt. He drowned in the smell of gunpowder and drugstore cologne, hugging the sweatshirt to his body before inspecting the closet further. The boy honed in on organizing Ajax's closet, dragging a pile of stale clothes out for laundry. He organized worn leather boots well past their expiration date, storing them on the top shelf beside a plastic bin stuffed full of more clothes. The boy worked until he smelled Ricky's lemon pepper fish through the circulating vents, and he sat back for a break. He leaned against the accordion door as his green eyes surveyed what he had left. There were more shoes, frayed clothes, a few dusty books, and a water-stained shoebox. He wet his lips, glancing at the entrance before he crawled back into the closet on all fours, inching the shoebox from its hidden corner and brushing a layer of dust from the top. Crossing his legs, he sucked in a deep breath and lifted the top. The smell of stale paper surrounded him and clung to his clothes. Yellowed photographs with frayed corners filled the majority of the box. A few pieces of jewelry, an old box of cards, and an old pistol occupied the rest of the box. The old pistol had a skinny barrel, a rusted cylinder, and a worn wooden handle. Orion picked up the topmost picture, a picture of a younger version of Ajax with a mass of dark curls next to a tall, darker-skinned man with a similar hairstyle. They sported easy smiles and radiated an undeniable warmth. Orion smiled and turned the photo over. It had a smudged date, August 19th. Is this D? Orion whispered, thumbs brushing over both faces. He sat the photo aside and dug through the box some more, pulling out photo after photo of Ajax the stranger and younger versions of Trav, Ricky, and Jake. He uncovered a collection of photos wrapped in paper and secured with a rubber band. These photos featured Ajax and another young man. They looked identical, except Ajax's smile was sweeter. The first few pictures were tame, playful shots of the 2 men laughing and smiling, but the mood changed as the pictures continued. There was a kiss. Then clothes started disappearing, until they were both bare-chested and bare-assed. Oh! Orion chewed his bottom lip, pausing on a picture of the unfamiliar man on top of Ajax. Ajax's face was turned away from the camera, but Orion recognized the scars like tiger stripes. So cute. Shifting his position, he switched to the next picture, a picture of the stranger biting into Ajax's neck. You two were bad. Orion giggled. He traced the edges of the photo with his fingers, before pausing and squinting his dark eyebrows. The distinct sound of footsteps tickled his ears, and he sucked in his breath, stashing everything back into the shoebox and tucking it away. Orion jumped to his feet as the door creaked open, clasping his hands behind his back. What are you doing? Ajax filled the doorframe. Brooding eyes searched the room before landing on Orion. I was making the bed for tonight. You're standing at the closet. All right. I organized it too. You have lots of old shoes. You could toss them. Ajax stared at the closet, clenching his jaws, and looked back at Orion. The fish is ready downstairs. Ricky and I are going to discuss the job. You need to listen. Okay. Give me like 5 minutes and I'll be downstairs. All right. Ajax closed the door as he left. Orion listened to his heavy footsteps down the stairs and the low rumble of Ajax's and Ricky's voices. He exhaled and grabbed 2 pictures from Ajax's shoebox, tucking them into his backpack before he raced downstairs. Ricky and Ajax looked up from their plates. Hey there. I got your plate right here. Ricky motioned to a place setting across from him with food still wrapped in foil. Ajax sat next to the man, glancing between his meal and an open laptop screen positioned between Ricky and Ajax's plates. Thank you. Orion tiptoed over to the men, sinking into the seat across from Ricky and hiding his hands between his thighs. Well, go on, try it. Ricky's lips spread into a smile. All right. Of course. Orion uncurled the foil bunched at the corners and opened the packet, smoothing the wrinkled aluminum as best he could. Curls of steam wafted the fish's savory seasoning past his nose. It smells lovely. I told you before. Indeed. Orion ate a small bite. He chewed, swallowed, and returned his hands to his lap. Did you get settled upstairs? I see you found Jax's old clothes. Ricky lofted his eyebrows to his wrinkled forehead and flashed a gentleman's smile. Why, yes. I made the bed for us, and I reorganized the closet. Ajax, you don't have to keep all of your shoes you've ever owned. Orion teased. Ajax grunted, picking at his food. I know this. Let's talk about the game plan. Ajax motioned to the open laptop. Of course. Ricky's smile grew as he glanced between them. Orion ate another shallow bite of food. It is very good. Thank you. It's all yours and we're at home. You don't have to eat like royalty. He eats everything like he's a little prince. Just ignore it, Ajax muttered. Ricky chuckled. I see. Well, all right then. The older man adjusted his glasses. The goal is to break into our target's safety deposit box and steal private information. All right. Ajax nibbled sliced potatoes. Here's what I came up with. There have been criminals breaking into bank deposit boxes by cutting a hole in the roof and cutting the security camera's cords. They haven't been caught yet, but they've been terrorizing the area. Ajax nodded. How do they cut a hole in the roof? Well, they do it 2 ways. 1, they break into a neighboring building and walk through the walls to the bank. 2, they use a blowtorch to cut a hole in the ceiling and drop into the secured area. Is there a pattern to how often they use either method? Of course. They always break into the neighboring buildings when the buildings are in a shopping center. Otherwise, they use a blowtorch. Orion snorted, putting a piece of seasoned fish to his lips. Well, right. What else? They tend to leave the place a mess. I have crime scene photos. Ricky tapped on the laptop and turned it towards Ajax. I'd suggest taking a little something even if you leave the place trashed. You know, snatch a couple grand. Yeah. Ajax pulled the laptop closer, leaning his elbows on the table as he studied each picture. What are you looking for in the pictures? He's looking for tells. Evidence. From what it looks like, they're purchasing local goods each time. No fingerprints. Ricky explained to Orion. We're going to copycat. You and Ricky will go buy the equipment. What? Orion's eyes shot up to Ajax's face. You and Ricky will go buy the... I want you to come with us. The words tumbled from Orion's lips. Why? You two look normal. A man and his son. Ajax waved a hand at them. Ricky turned the laptop back towards himself and started tapping on it again, eyes narrowing behind the square rims of his glasses. I don't. We just met, Orion stammered. Jax. If he doesn't want to go, I can go alone. Perhaps tomorrow night. I think he should go because he needs to be around other people, and he needs to learn. Orion shuddered when Ricky's gaze landed on him. Disoriented, imaginary ants swirled along Orion's skin, puckering the fine hairs. He avoided Ricky's eyes. He pinched tiny bites of fish off the corners and picked at flaws on the table. He picked at a knot in the wood grain. What the hell is wrong with you now? Jax? Ricky sighed. I am happy to go alone. I understand he is your charge, but he is clearly uncomfortable with the idea. Fine. What about the security cameras, then? Ajax stabbed the fish and vegetables he had left, stacking the ingredients on his fork and cramming it into his mouth. I will override them remotely. What do you mean by override them? Orion lifted his eyes to Ricky. I mean, rather than destroy them, I will hack into them from here and play the previous day's footage starting at the same time and ending when Ajax gives me the clear. Is it safe to do? Ricky chortled. Rich laughter filled the room. Safe is relative, isn't it? We are committing a crime. None of it is safe, but yes, remotely overriding the cameras is better than trying to cut the cords and potentially getting them wrong. I wouldn't get them wrong. Jax, I know this, but it still leaves a liability. In fact, even if you decide to cut the cords, I would still override the cameras with old footage beforehand. I'll probably cut the cords to ensure it looks like the same criminals. Most criminals don't have an off-site hacker to solve their problems. Orion is learning coding. You should show him how you do all this camera shit. He's been talking about it for weeks. I haven't. Orion's cheeks tingled, and the back of his neck warmed when Ricky turned his eyes on him again. He felt small under Ricky's gaze. Dirty. Exposed. He had forgotten those feelings while traveling with Ajax, who didn't look at him in any particular way, but they bubbled to the surface again as the older man studied him. Yeah, you have. Are you going to finish your food or look at it all night? Orion closed his eyes and pushed his plate away. You can have it. I'm not hungry. Ricky pressed his lips in a thin line, scowling at Ajax, who shrugged his shoulders up to his ears. What? You should be nicer. He's done nothing to warrant your attitude. He's done nothing to deserve any better either. I'm sorry, is he not the boy who watched his husband die before his eyes? And had you walk in and likely threaten his life? Sure. I pointed a gun to his head, whatever. It isn't whatever, Jax. He has been through a traumatic event, and you are being insensitive. From the looks of it, he's been through years of traumatic events. From the looks of what? The way he is acting. Ricky shook his head, closing the laptop. Dee raised you to be compassionate. I think I'm going to go upstairs and shower. Orion wiggled out of his seat. Of course. What do you prefer for breakfast? Anything is fine. Ricky nodded. I'll have Jax make you an English breakfast. What? Orion shifted his weight from one leg to the other, inching backwards with one trifling step after another. As an apology for being rude. I could just apologize. With breakfast, yes. Ricky leaned back in his seat, sipping lukewarm tea from a wide mug. I'll see you upstairs, Ajax. Suppressing a smile, Orion raced up the stairs, leaving them to their argument. Ajax's protests faded as he reached the second-floor bedroom and shed his clothes. He retrieved a bar of still-wrapped hotel soap and tramped across the hall to the guest bathroom, closing the door with a soft click. The bed depressed under Ajax's weight hours after Orion had climbed into bed, and Ajax inched closer to him until their bodies were together. Hard muscles pressed into Orion's lean back, cushioning bony shoulder blades. Ajax nestled his face between Orion's shoulder and neck, hiding his face in the boy's wild damp hair after kissing the back of his neck. He feigned a deep sleep as he charted the pattern of Ajax's breathing. The next morning, Orion woke up alone in the bed in Ajax's room. Blinding sunlight spilled across the faded comforter, dappling the sheets. Groaning, he rolled over and threw the covers over his face, stealing a few more minutes of sleep before he fought his way out of the bedsheets and trudged to the closet. He picked another one of Ajax's shirts, tucking the tail of the shirt into his skinny jeans and moving down the hall barefoot. "Something smells good," Orion called as he hit the last step, hooking his arm around the railing. Ricky emerged from the kitchen first with a mug of steaming tea in one hand and a newspaper tucked under his shoulder. His square reading glasses sat on his nose. "Good morning, Orion. How did you sleep?" Orion eyed the newspaper, hugging the railing tighter. "Well, thank you. Very good. I believe we're going into town later to get supplies. I'm making a list." Ricky placed his mug down on the table and sat in one of the chairs. Orion shifted, crossing his arms in front of him and clasping his hands together. His toes curled. "Ah. Jax can come too, if his presence would make you feel better." "Why yes," Orion gasped. "Yes, please." Ricky opened the newspaper, folding it on the puzzles page. "He's in the kitchen finishing breakfast." "Right." Orion dipped into the kitchen. Ajax nodded to Orion as he grabbed a spatula from a drawer full of silverware. "Morning. Do you want coffee or tea?" "Oh. What are you going to have?" "Coffee probably," Ajax rumbled, flipping strips of bacon. "How'd you sleep?" "I slept okay. When did you join me?" "Late. Ricky and I stayed up late catching up on things." "You're scared of him?" "Yes." "Why?" Orion lifted his chin, staring down his nose at the sizzling meat. "He don't look like your husband or your pops." "It's not looks. It's everything else. Ricky acts like a creeper who would touch boys." "And no. The kindness. My husband started out kind too." "Oh." Ajax frowned. "Well, Ricky's a good guy." "I know. Is he upset?" "Nah. He's fine. How do you like your eggs?" "Sunny side up, please." "All right. Go ask Ricky how he wants his." "Probably poached." Orion nodded, stepping out of the kitchen again and turning to Ricky, who was engrossed in his crossword puzzle. Orion approached the table and waited, staring at the ground. Ricky added several word guesses, then tapped his pen against his weathered lips. Orion bit his bottom lip, glancing back into the kitchen at Ajax before back at Ricky. He shifted his position, legs quaking as his heartbeat quickened, skipping beats as he waited. "Oh, Orion. I didn't notice you. You should have said something." I tried." The boy rubbed his temples. "Indeed. What is it?" "Ajax wants to know how you want your eggs." "Ah. Poached, I think. Remind him to add vinegar and stir the water." Orion nodded, rushing back to the kitchen. He covered his face with his hands, taking in a slow breath. "What'd he say?" Ajax grinned. "Poached." Orion smirked. "You were right. Do you know how to make a poached egg?" Orion shook his head. "Come here. I'll show you." Ajax beckoned him over and grabbed the foam carton of eggs. "You said you want sunny side up. I like scrambled. And the old man wants poached." Ajax repeated. "So we'll start mine first, then yours, then his, because his takes the most maintenance." Orion nodded. "I can start yours. I made scrambled eggs a lot." "All right. I need a bowl and a whisk." Why?" "To scramble the eggs before you put them in the pan. And the pan has to already be warm." Knitting his dark eyebrows, Ajax grabbed a bowl from the cabinet, a whisk from the utensil drawer, and placed the pan on the stove, turning it on medium. "Thank you." Orion cracked 2 eggs on the side of the bowl, digging his fingers into the crack to split the eggs in half. He whisked them together before pouring the mixture into the pan. "You forgot the salt and pepper." Ajax frowned. Is this how white people make eggs? Bland? Orion pursed his lips together, swatting Ajax's shoulder. No, I didn't know how you wanted them. You can spice them when they're finished. Make my egg now. Ajax snorted, cracking an egg over another hot pan. Okay, poached. This right here. Ajax paused and peered out of the kitchen towards Ricky. This is weird shit. Don't nobody eat poached eggs. He grinned, setting another pan out and filling it with a little water. Ajax added a drop of vinegar to the water. I think my father likes them. Well, Ajax cracked an egg in a bowl. As he waited for the water to simmer, he checked the scramble and the sunny side up. Okay, here's the tricky part. You have to make a whirlpool so you can get the egg white to wrap around the yolk. Ajax stirred the water and then poured the egg into the center. Orion stole a piece of bacon and watched, leaning against the counter as Ajax worked around the kitchen, removing the meats and letting them rest as he started preparing plates. He poured his scramble on a plate next to sausage and bacon. He prepared Orion's plate next, sliding the sunny side-up egg onto another plate. You want bacon, sausage, or both? One piece of sausage and one piece of bacon. Orion covered his mouth as he chewed his stolen piece. Aha! Ajax winked. He tossed pieces of thick toast in one of the leftover egg pans, browning it and slicing them diagonally. When do you know the poached egg is ready? Is it white all around? Yes. It's getting done. It'll be all right for another second. Ajax eased his way back over to the poached egg pan, lifting the egg and blotting it on a paper towel as he added sausage to Ricky's plate. You could have been a chef if you weren't an assassin. Ajax laughed. I worked as a cook for a while at this breakfast place. Take this to Ricky. He handed Orion Ricky's plate. I'll bring everything else out in a second. Okay. Orion squeezed the white rim of the plate. Thank you. For making breakfast. Yeah? It's no problem. He kissed Orion's forehead and then paused, his own cheeks blooming with color. Yeah. He breathed. Sorry. No, it's okay. I like it when you kiss me. Orion flushed. His heart worked itself up, pounding against his ribs. Yeah. Why, yes. I'll take this, Orion mumbled. He stumbled from the kitchen, dropping Ricky's plate on the side table beside his rough hands. Ricky had completed the crossword puzzle and moved on to the Sudoku. When Orion set his plate down, he looked up at him, offering a warm smile. Ah. The poached egg looks lovely. Thank you. I didn't make it. Thank you for bringing it to me, Ricky corrected. Please sit. Orion sat down, hands resting against his thighs, gripping the cotton fabric of his jeans. So, I've been preparing the list of items we need from the supermarket. Where? In my brain. Ricky folded the newspaper and set it aside. However, I want you to write it down for me. There's paper in the drawer over there. Oh, right. Orion grabbed the paper and folded it over his lap. Blowtorch. Thick gloves, perhaps leather. New boots. A ladder, because I think we will be entering from the roof. We also need to get a rental vehicle. Okay. Orion scribbled the notes down. You should get snacks for traveling. Ah, yes. A replacement wardrobe, as Ajax prefers to destroy his entire outfit. Why does he? Because he's paranoid. Ricky sipped his tea. Oh. He made me strip down immediately after we got to the hotel. You two are intimate? Orion's ears burned, and he rubbed moist palms over his jeans. You asked this yesterday, and no. We're not. Interesting. He destroyed your clothes? Yes. Ricky nodded. He's very thorough. Dee taught him to be. He doesn't take any risks. Well, besides being someone who kills people. Besides that, yes. Ricky chuckled. Dee shaved his head so he couldn't leave hair behind. I'm glad Ajax doesn't. Indeed. The older gentleman smiled, scrubbing his thumb against his cheek. Orion shrank in front of him, until he looked away, glancing out the window instead. I will book the hotels in advance too. Ajax joined them in the dining room, carrying 2 breakfast plates and 2 mugs with him. He placed Orion's drink next to his left hand. You didn't say what you wanted, so I made you coffee. Yes. Coffee is fine. Thank you. Ajax set the dishes down on the coffee table between Ricky and Orion, and took his seat. What's good? We're compiling a list of supplies. You are accompanying us to the store, by the way. Why? I have to finish packing here. Ricky glanced at Orion. Because we don't want to forget anything. Ajax snorted. Fine. What's on the list? Orion reviewed the list aloud for Ajax. Add skullcap. I'm going to go in unarmed. It'll be safer without weapons. Correct. What do you plan to do with the stolen valuables? Keep half, dump the rest. Tell some homeless guy to pawn it as soon as he can. Ricky nodded. Why pawn? Orion asked. Because they don't keep good records, and the more something changes hands, the less likely it is to be found. Stealing items is better than stealing money. Oh, okay. We need to get Orion a cell phone. Ajax nibbled a piece of bacon. You want it under my plan? His main one, yeah. I don't want it connected to mine. Not right now. All right. For you, Jax, because I'm proud of you. Ajax scraped his fork across his plate. You're being fucking lame. I'm old. I am allowed to be lame. Ricky smiled. Orion wiggled, leaning into Ajax. You trust me now? What? Because you're finally letting me have a method of communication. You need to get used to not using it. You can't play all those duck duck goose games because they connect to the internet. They sync your location all the time. Phones are for calls from those close to you only. You'll have a burner phone for clients. Right? So you can call Trav, Ricky, and me. See why you don't really need one? Orion shrugged. If something happens, I would need to call the police. No, you wouldn't. We don't call the police. Ricky frowned, stabbing his poached egg and dipping his toast into the runny yolk. Orion. We can't rely on government services. We can't call the police, the ambulance, go to the hospital, nothing. If we get hurt, we have to treat ourselves. I mean, if it's real bad, we can try a private practice and pay a fortune hoping they'll keep quiet. Ajax shrugged. I don't want to think about you getting hurt. Let's talk about something else. Orion scrunched his features, nibbling a piece of toast. Well, all right then. I should teach you how to forge fingerprints. Ricky looked at Orion. You can forge fingerprints? Indeed. And teach him to clean crime scenes. Since you two will be hanging out for a week while I'm working. Is it difficult? Orion raised his eyebrows, turning wide eyes to Ricky. Hardly. You need to know the proper chemicals. And what the chemicals are in, so you can purchase them at the supermarket, Ajax added. Ricky finished his food and sat back in his seat, crossing his ankle over his knee. He drank from his mug. Indeed. You two should get ready. Ajax, you need to leave at least by 2, if you want to travel 9 hours today. Right? Ajax ate his food and disappeared up the stairs, coffee mug in hand. He listens to you, Orion murmured. Of course he listens to me. I was all he had after Dee died. And after Chris died. He'd raise hell, but he didn't like crossing me. How did Dee die? On a job. Assassins don't have a long life expectancy. Chris died on a job too? I believe so, yes. We don't discuss it. Ajax thinks he was helped along. Really? Sadly, yes. Have you met Brody? Yes. Chris and Brody had a job together, and only Brody returned. Ajax is convinced Brody had something to do with it, but he has no evidence except, well, Brody. They don't get along. Did they ever get along? Jax tried to get along with Brody, but Chris made it difficult. Chris and Brody were never friends. Oh, I should finish getting ready. Indeed. Take your coffee. Right. Orion followed Ajax up the stairs, and they both returned to the main room in less than an hour, meeting Ricky at the door. They piled into Ricky's black pickup truck. Orion sat sandwiched between Ricky's square build and Ajax's muscular body all the way to the supermarket, where he wheeled the cart while the men shopped. Ajax tossed items into the cart, and Ricky defined the chemicals in each, lowering his tone and whispering the purpose of them. Ricky snuck in a box of fruit snacks, cream-filled cookies, and miniature cupcakes, smiling to Orion with a youthful glitter in his eyes. We don't need cupcakes. Ajax drove the cart to the checkout counter. You're not paying, and you will not be eating them. Therefore Orion and I. With a grunt, Ajax loaded the items on the counter. Still smiling, Ricky watched the total rise each time an item passed across the scanner. The total exceeded $100 and inched towards $200. Is this too much? Orion whispered, leaning into Ajax's side. Ajax squeezed Orion's shoulder. His thumb massaged the base of the boy's neck. No. Ricky handed the cashier crisp 20s, and Ajax loaded the bagged items into the cart and wheeled it to the truck. They stopped by the hardware store where Ricky ran inside, purchasing an industrial blowtorch. They stopped at the cell phone company's storefront last, and all three of them went inside. Ajax milled about, poking at electronic tablets, fancy headphones, and overpriced cell phone cases, while Orion followed Ricky, standing beside him as he negotiated adding another phone to his account. After an hour of a back-and-forth discussion with the sales associate, Ricky handed Orion a used touchscreen cell phone. Program our numbers. You need to think of code names for us both. Ones we don't even know. Speaking of codes, he solved ours. Ajax helped Orion into the truck, climbing in behind him. Solved ours? Ricky blinked. Yeah. Brody ripped it up, but he cracked it with some math problem thing. Ask him. Ajax gestured to Orion, and Ricky turned his attention to the boy. How did you do it? I used the most common letters as a base, and created a solvable math equation for the others. Orion shrugged. Ricky nodded. You'll have to memorize the code like a second language. We can get started while Jax is working. Okay. I'm good at languages. You know other languages? Ajax quirked an eyebrow at Orion. Well, yes. French, Spanish, and Italian. Why? I don't know. We learned them as babies, instead of how you usually learn them in high school. Rich people. Ajax wrinkled his nose. They rented a vehicle, and Ajax drove it back to Ricky's place with Orion in the passenger seat. Ajax packed the vehicle, stashing a pistol in the center console and their newly purchased supplies on the floor of the back seat. Orion hovered around him, helping when he could. You don't have to be outside. Ajax tucked a small ice chest behind the passenger seat. I know, but I'm going to miss you. I'm going to be gone for a week. And? Orion nibbled the inside of his cheek. And it's not a big deal. You'll be fine here for a week. I wish I could come with you. Of course you want to come with me, but you're staying here. I know. I'm just. I don't want anything to happen to you. Ajax packed the last of his things and sighed, crossing his arms and leaning against the vehicle. Nothing's going to happen. This is a damn easy job. Anything could happen. All the time. Orion squirmed, avoiding Ajax's eyes as he studied the rental vehicle. His eyes roamed over the new tires, covered by a midnight blue aluminum frame. Yeah. It's why we get paid the big bucks. Ajax unfolded his arms and extended them to Orion. Come here. The boy stepped forward, then hesitated before falling into Ajax's arms, roping his arms around his neck. I don't want you to die. I'm not going to die. Ajax placed a hand at the small of his back, gripping his side. Promise me you won't. I promise. Promise me you'll come home safely. No new holes or scars. Orion stroked the back of his fingers over Ajax's cheek, sliding them up to his ear and burrowing them in his dark curls. Ajax rumbled, I'll come home safely. He nuzzled into Orion's hand, lips brushing against his soft palm. Okay. Text me each night. Ajax kissed the inside of Orion's wrist and pulled their bodies closer together, squaring their hips. Fine. You should go inside now. I need to get on the road. A few more minutes, please. Of what? Of you holding me. Orion's cheeks flamed. His hands slid down Ajax's broad shoulders and toned arms before he gripped the edges of Ajax's shirt. He stood on his toes, glancing at Ajax's lips before looking into his eyes. Kiss me. When I get back. He stroked his fingers over Orion's lips, parting them with his thumb. When I get back, I'll kiss you. Orion's heart sank, falling like lead through his body and weighting his feet. Okay. Ajax combed Orion's hair. I need to go. With a weak nod, Orion stepped away from the vehicle, and Ajax climbed inside it. Each step away from the vehicle was steps over a sea of needles. The stinging pain shot through his body as he trudged up the steps and leaned against the porch railings. He watched Ajax reverse the vehicle and swivel it around, kicking up dust as he followed the dirt road away from Ricky's place. Orion watched until the vehicle was out of sight, until the purring engine faded, until he was surrounded by silence, and then tears gathered in his eyes. He sucked in shallow breaths as his chest constricted, muscles clenching. Tears striped his cheeks, but he wiped them away, smearing the wetness across his blotchy face. Orion? Ricky called from the living room. Why, yes. His voice cracked. Ah. You should come inside. I've made a quick lunch if you're hungry. Orion's stomach lurched and whined. Never mind. I will bring it to you. Ricky walked outside a few minutes later with a sandwich filled with folded slices of meat and 2 squares of cheese. The sandwich was sliced into 4 triangles, and Orion squeezed the wooden rails as he looked at it. Take one. Orion's nimble fingers selected the triangle closest to him and brought it to his lips, biting into it. Thank you. This is his first job since you and he have been traveling together. The boy nodded, chewing slowly. It never gets easier, but one day you'll be helping him return safely. Would it ease your mind if you knew more about his mission? Orion swallowed around a growing knot in his throat, muscles straining. His Adam's apple shuddered. He picked up another triangle, cradling it in his fingers. Yes. All right. First, even if he was caught, this particular job would be around 10 years in prison at a maximum sentence. Not comforting. Ah. Ricky chuckled, taking a triangle for himself. I mean, he shouldn't get hurt. He wouldn't be foolish enough to take a weapon with him. The job itself is the nature of petty elitists. One family wishes to obtain secure documents from another family and is willing to pay someone to do it. Like my family. Like your father, yes. Do you know about him? Of course I do. I thought he ran a modeling agency. It's what his business card said anyway. Indeed. Your father is a roach, and your husband was one as well. There's not enough money in the world to make either of them respectable men. Orion squeezed the sandwich between his fingers, polka-dotting the soft white bread. Can I tell you a secret? Of course. I found a shoebox full of Ajax's pictures in his room. Ah, yes. A memory box, we called it. What about it? Nothing. I just looked through the pictures of him and Dee and Chris. All 3 of them were very close. Chris and Jax looked like twins, and they were almost inseparable. I saw. Chris was the outgoing one, Jax used to be so shy. He's not as much anymore. His shyness died with Chris. Ricky ate the last triangle. Were they more than friends? Chris and Ajax? I don't know. Come on inside, watching the road will not make him return faster. Ricky ushered him into the living room. Let's talk about your coding. You had questions? He moved past Orion, depositing the plate in the kitchen sink before returning to the living room. Yes, but they're probably dumb. Let me get my notes. Orion raced upstairs, grabbing his laptop, a notepad, and his textbook. He joined Ricky in the kitchen. Okay. Ricky sat down across from him, steeping another mug of tea. The boy opened the book and flipped through the pages. So my first question was if all the characters display correctly on all systems? Because computers have different operating systems, correct? Correct. The answer is no. Sometimes the operating system doesn't support particular characters. In these instances, the unrecognized characters show up as little empty boxes. What about old HTML to a newer browser? It should still work overall, but some features may not work. Orion scribbled the answer in the margins of the page and flipped to the next question. On attribute values. Can they be set to anything, or are there specific values only? Both. Some can only be set to predefined values, and others can accept any numerical value. Orion jotted the next answer down too. Okay, Orion chewed his lip. Could you explain style sheets to me? I read it, but it made no sense. Of course. Style sheets or cascading style sheets basically save a lot of work because they control the way multiple pages look all at once. For example, if you wish for every page to have 2 columns, a white background, black text, and orange headers, you can do a style sheet for all of those elements. Orion flipped to a blank page and started scribbling notes. Now there are still 3 types of CSS. Inline, internal, and external. Okay. I think I remember these, but still, please go over them with me. Orion divided his page into 3 sections before flicking his bright green eyes to Ricky. Ricky smiled, sipping his tea. Inline applies to one single element in the HTML. For example, if you want one paragraph to be red while the other paragraphs are black, you would use inline CSS to change the paragraph. This type of CSS needs a beginning and an end, and you put the paragraph in the middle. Whatever is between the beginning and the end will be affected by the CSS. Okay. Would you like concrete examples? If you don't mind, yes. Ricky slipped Orion's pen from his hands. Okay. The boy breathed, snatching his hand away as soon as their fingers made contact. Cheeks burning, he pushed his notes over to Ricky. Ricky ignored him, scrawling symbols and words together in a tiny cursive under Orion's loopy cursive handwriting. He notated the beginning, middle, and end parts to the examples, circling and drawing arrows to them. Orion stretched his back and neck, peering at the page over Ricky's arm. I see. Oh. Okay, yes, this makes sense. Ricky moved around the table, sitting beside Orion and placing the textbook between them. Orion shivered. All right. Internal CSS applies to a single web page. His thigh brushed against Orion, and the boy shook even more. He placed his hands in his lap and rubbed over his own slender thighs. Why, yes. All right. Ricky tapped the pen on the notes. I suppose there's not much else to say about it. Do you have questions before I give an example? Orion whimpered, raking his fingers through his hair. Am I making you uncomfortable? Orion nodded, twisting his hair and tucking it around his ears. He ducked his head, fixing his eyes on the ground. Forgive me. Ricky sighed. He stood up again, returning to the other side of the bar counter and sitting down again. Is this better? Orion rolled his shoulders. A little, yes. Orion. How can I make you feel more comfortable? I don't know. I'm sorry. Orion pinched his eyes closed, fingers rubbing them as they teared. I understand. You know, a lot of the people we support come from terrible situations. You support? Jax didn't tell you? And no. He doesn't tell me very much. Ah well. The homeless shelter. We all help support it. It was Dee's idea. He thought if we could raise a class of persons for hire, set our prices, and give a percentage back to the shelter, it would be self-sufficient. Is it? Yes, but we have to be careful with the money. It's what you call dirty, as in we can't deposit it into a bank. Dee had some of his clients donate half of his fee to the shelter. I believe Jax does something similar. He hasn't talked about it. Orion chewed his bottom lip. Well, he told me he was born in one and grew up there. Were you homeless too? Briefly, yes. I migrated to the United States from West Somerset. England? Indeed. You've mostly lost your accent. Yes. It's been nearly 30 years since I arrived here. It's par for the course, isn't it? I guess so, yes. What made you come here? More opportunities. I understand it will take time for you to relax around me, but I hope one day you can. Ricky smiled and laugh lines creased his cheeks. Let's get back to work. Orion nodded. A coy smile toyed with his lips. Ricky's eyes lingered on him for a few more minutes until he returned to the notes. The last one is external CSS. This is an external sheet used to define the style for many pages. Using this one, you can change the look of an entire website by editing one file. However, writing external CSS looks different than typical HTML. It looks more like this. Ricky wrote some quick examples. See the difference? Ah yes. This makes much more sense. So why should I know this? Several reasons, really. For example, before you can destroy a website, you need to understand how it's been created. Once you know the basics, you can alter codes, add your own. You can also replicate websites such as fake landing pages and login pages. Like for a bank? Indeed. This is the easiest way to steal information. I know some people in our network who steal strangers' information and set up automatic payments for themselves. $5 to $10 a month. It sounds small and it is small, but it can go undetected for years. And if you do it to several unrelated people, correct? Ricky nodded. There is a gestation period between compromising the information and utilizing it. Ideally, you want to slip in undetected to compromise the information, so the bank facilities do not prompt users to change their information. But before utilizing the information, you should let it rest for several weeks. I get it. Have you all considered doing this for the homeless shelter? Perhaps once people are already donating, once they see the charges, they will check where they are going and be disinclined to cancel them? Orion lofted his eyebrows. It's a consideration. Maybe it can be your first official project, developing a fraudulent bank webpage and login. Trav had me develop a simple website, but I used HTML for the entire project. I didn't understand CSS enough to do it the easier way. Ricky nodded. Can I see your simple website? Of course. Orion opened his laptop. I made it in an offline program Trav gave me. Yes, of course. We made this program for the students to practice on. They used to practice hacking into each other's computer networks and altering the codes in the program. Ricky chuckled, sipping his tea. Children. When I was a child, I played outside. Did you really? Ricky laughed, smiling again. Orion nodded. And Ajax was hacking computers? Well, he wasn't. Trav and Rain were. Brody did sometimes, but he was much more inclined to follow Jax to the training mat and challenge him. Chris enjoyed weaponry. Ajax is good with physical fighting? Direct combat, yes. He's a very skilled marksman too, because he's so patient. I believe he excelled in combat the most because he has so much anger inside of him. I noticed the anger, but thought it came after Chris' death. Ricky shook his head. It was always there, but Chris helped it. At the very least, he is no longer alone all the time. Loneliness breeds more anger. I don't know why he decided not to kill you, but I am glad he has you to travel with. I should be thanking you for changing the course of Jax's life. Then you're welcome. Orion turned his head to the side and tormented the frayed edges of his notebook paper. I think I'm going to go up and finish reading this. He motioned to the textbook, closing it and stacking it on the laptop. Indeed. Keep your cell phone nearby. Jax will likely call you when he arrives at his hotel for the night. Okay. I'll let you know when he calls. Thank you. Orion sucked his bottom lip for a moment, and then nodded. Yes. All right. He scurried up the stairs, collapsing in the bed he shared with Ajax. He set the book and laptop beside him, and buried his face in Ajax's pillow. He closed his eyes as he inhaled Ajax's musky scent, and he stretched across the bed, wrapping the blankets around his body. He opened his eyes again when his cell phone vibrated in his pocket. Hang on. Orion scowled, resting the phone on the pillow. Hello. You sound sleepy. Did I wake you up? Ajax? Why, you've made it? No, not yet. I'm about 4 hours away, but I stopped for food and thought I'd call. Oh. Orion rubbed his eyes, pinching sleep from them. So, how are you? I'm good. Our Ricky and I talked about coding for a while. And about you. Me? Yes. He thanked me for traveling with you because he didn't like you being alone all the time. Of course he did, Ajax grumbled. Anything else? He mentioned how you think Brody had something to do with Chris' death. Brody's an asshole. He has it out for me, and you need to be very careful around him. I won't be around him unless you are. Good. And he's not attractive. I was kidding when I said he was cute. Orion giggled. What are you getting for food? Something at this convenience store off the highway. One of the burritos you can warm up. Sounds nutritious. Very. Ajax shuffled around on the other end of the call. A bag crinkled, and Ajax bit into something. Muffled chewing noises filled the cell phone receiver. Can I ask you something? Ajax swallowed. Yeah. What are we? We're humans, right? No. I mean you and I, what are we? I'm a person for hire, and you're a surprisingly useful tag-along. Orion sighed. Still not what I meant. You and I together, what are we? Oh. Silence overtook them, and Ajax chewed into the phone. He swallowed. You want us to be something. I thought we were something since we sleep together every night. You could get 2-bed hotel rooms, but you don't. And the other night at the club. What about the club? When you took the drugs. Yeah, but I was on drugs, so whatever I did then doesn't mean anything. So you and I are nothing? I don't know, kid. Why is it important to you? Because, Orion whimpered. Because what? Because I like you. No, you don't. You watched me complete a job, and you feel favorably towards me because I ended your suffering. The feelings will pass. I don't know. They have a name for it. Stockholm Syndrome, I think. Remember the story of Beauty and the Beast? She had it. She gets taken captive by a beast, and gradually falls in love with him, though he exhibits no signs of, worthiness. Yes, I know of the story. I'm your beast. You only have feelings for me because, in some ways, you're my captive. I've done nothing of merit for you to have feelings towards me, and yet you seem to have them. What? I don't think it applies here. You haven't done anything horrible to me, besides point a gun at my head, and I've forgiven you for it because it was your job. Right? Well, I'm not the kind of guy you want to fall in love with anyway. Why not? Because I kill people, obviously. You're not going to let it go, are you? No, I'm not. Okay, fine. But do you have feelings for me? Orion. Answer the question. I have a job to complete, and trying to decode my feelings for you is a distraction. Is it? Orion traced his tongue along the back of his teeth. The corners of his lips twitched, and he fought a smile. Yeah, it is. Listen, I'm going to finish eating. I'll call you in a few hours when I get to the hotel, all right? Okay. I'll talk to you then. Yeah. Okay, bye. Ajax ended the call, and Orion chuckled, shaking his head. The digital clock on the dresser read 6:49, and the sun had begun its slow descent from the sky. Orion rolled onto his back, closing his eyes with a smile on his face as he replayed their conversation. Ajax's growling voice caressed his ears. Orion grinned a little more before he pushed himself out of bed and strolled downstairs. Ricky. In the living room, the man replied, glancing over the back of the couch towards Orion. How has your studying been going? Orion knuckled his eyes, leaning against the wall beside the staircase. I fell asleep, but Ajax just called me and said he was a few hours out. He was stopping for food. Ricky looked at his watch, nodding. He's making decent time. It's 7 now. He should have about 3 to 4 hours left of this day, depending on how long he wants to drive. Orion nodded, approaching the couch and resting his hands on the back of it. Where are my manners? Ricky kicked his feet off the couch and sat up, motioning to the now empty spot. Please sit. Orion's cheeks warmed, and he sat down across from Ricky, curling into himself. The older man smiled. Are you hungry? Not right now. Ah. All right. Do you know what Jax's favorite learning games used to be? What? Once we taught him all the chemicals necessary to clean and dispose of bodies, we used to play 2 games. The crime scene game and the accident game. What's the crime scene game? Well, the crime scene game is where we discuss the best and most thorough ways to clean crime scenes. The accident game is giving case scenarios and deciphering how to make it look like an accident. Oh, I see. Orion scanned the room. He looked over Ricky's impressive display of normalcy. The man had a bookcase full of classic novels and thick generic reference books. He had an entertainment stand with a wall-mounted television and pictures on either side. Photos of D, Ajax, Chris, Trav, and others cascaded down the wall in black frames. Do you really think I could be one of you guys? Yes. Okay. Then can we play crime scene first? Absolutely. Ricky pulled a drawer on the coffee table, retrieving a deck of cards. He shuffled them before uncovering the first one. The card showed a picture of a building and text scrolling down the side. All right. 2-bedroom, 1-bath building with a kitchen, living, and dining room. The task was completed in the large bedroom, with the deceased on the bed in a pool of blood. There is 1 handprint on the kitchen counter, a splatter of blood in the dining room, and 1 bloody footprint pointing outward the front door. Okay. I have a question. Yes? Is the expectation to clean the entire crime scene, body and all, or am I allowed to potentially leave the body? I suppose it depends on if you think it looks realistically like an accident or suicide. How did this person die? Ricky's plump lips curved into a smile. You're learning. I can't help you anymore. Orion scowled. Fine. Well, judging by the blood splatter in the living room, either someone is really messy or he didn't start in the bedroom. I cannot fathom what would cause an isolated splatter in one room with the dead body in another. Ricky nodded. Interesting theory, go on. The handprint and footprint seem queer. An experienced killer wouldn't leave any evidence, and the footprint is attempting to leave the building. This is very confusing. Indeed. What is more important? Deciding if it can be an accident or deciding how best to clean the environment? If there's nothing left behind but the dead body, what will police do? It depends on the person who is dead. If it is a lower-class citizen, nothing. If it is an upper-class citizen, they will scour the environment looking for more clues. Okay, well, considering this place is a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, I doubt the dead person is upper class. Indeed. Considering the blood splatter in the living room, the question next is, did he die on the bed or did he make his way to the living room after the first blow? But I'm beginning to think the attacker was lazy or unaware. Oh my God, do you guys do this type of thinking all the time? No, but it teaches you all the things to consider. Continue. Okay, well, I think it's best to clean the blood splatter, the handprint and the footprint. I suppose at the end of the day, if there's no further evidence, the case is cold? Yes. Okay, then I want to clean the blood from everywhere but the bedroom. How? Orion licked his lips with cleaner. Correct. What type of cleaner? Peroxide and water? I will grant you half credit. Sodium carbonate peroxyhydrate. Which is an oxygen-based stain remover. Okay. Why do I need to use sodium C-carbonate perioxyhydrogen? Sodium carbonate peroxyhydrate, Ricky repeated, enunciating each syllable. You need to learn your elements. Like science? Yes, like science. You need to know the basics, and what these elements do and what they combine to do as well. For example, do you know why oxygen-based stain removers work for cleaning blood from police tests? Orion shook his head. Well, it starts by understanding what police tests do. There are 3 standard tests for picking up blood, and they all rely on a reaction with hemoglobin. Hemoglobin? Yes. It's a protein in your body. This protein reacts to oxygen. In fact, hemoglobin is what helps carry oxygen throughout your body. It enjoys oxygen. The police blood tests offer the hemoglobin oxygen simply. Now, if we can give the hemoglobin all of the oxygen it desires, it will have no interest in the police test. Oh, okay, and then the test will come up negative? Correct. So anything with oxygen will work? Presumably so, indeed. Is it something we can experiment with? Yes. Yes, we can experiment with it. I can procure some tests the next time I am in town. Can we use your blood? Orion shrugged his shoulders to his ears, fluttering his lashes towards Ricky. My blood for your experiments? Ricky chuckled. We have a week until Jax returns, we will do it at some point. Okay. The boy smiled. For now, however, let me make you something to eat while we continue our game. Okay. Fish again? It was good. If you would like. Ricky stood and strolled into the kitchen. Bring the cards, and we will continue our game. He retrieved fish from the refrigerator, placing it on the counter as he rolled up his sleeves. Faded black tattoos decorated his coarse skin. Orion slipped into a seat at the bar, propping his head in his hand and watching Ricky season the lean meat. He picked at the stack of cards, uncovering the top card and laying it so they both could see. Ricky leaned over, squinting through square black-rimmed glasses. Read the notes aloud. Orion nodded, sliding the card closer to himself and reading the notes and crime scene information aloud for Ricky to hear. The older man mulled over the information as he worked on their meal, now preheating the oven. He painted the fish in a seasoned buttery sauce and wrapped them in foil before slipping them into the oven. Ricky leaned against the counter as they discussed the ins and outs of crime scene cleanup, answering all of Orion's questions before they moved to the next card. Ricky prepared sides for the fish, steaming broccoli and smashing potatoes. They sat across from each other after Ricky fixed 2 plates, and they continued discussing crime scenes. After a few more cards and 2 servings of food, Ricky deposited their plates into the sink. We will wash them later. He winked. Your brain needs to rest, to stew over all you have learned. We will play more tomorrow. What are you going to do for the rest of the night? Jax should call soon, it has been several hours. Once he calls, I will go to bed. Orion nodded, sliding his hands between his thighs. He stayed in the kitchen, as Ricky returned to the living room. The boy exhaled when Ricky passed him, with nothing more than a gust of wind and a wave of woodsy cologne. To Orion's disappointment, Ajax's final communication came as a text message. The message contained 2 words and a line of Z's. He texted. Orion sighed, tucking his hair behind his ear, and said he had arrived. I think he's tired. He should be, Ricky replied. Should I call him? No. Let him be. Tomorrow will be busy, so he needs his rest tonight. Orion's face fell. Okay. Sorry, kid. It's fine. He's hot and cold. One minute I swear he likes me, the next he's… Orion shook his head as his eyes watered, shining with salty tears as he studied Ricky's hardwood floor. I would love to give you both advice, but I'm afraid your personal relationship is something you will have to navigate on your own. Is it bad? For him to care for someone else? No. It's difficult because as soon as you care for someone else, you have a liability. Do you care for someone else? I mean, I know you care for Ajax and Trav and everyone, but do you have a lover? Ricky smirked, the corners of his eyes wrinkling even as his features grew tight. Schooled. You should get some rest. Tomorrow we've got to help Jax compromise a bank. Orion heaved a sigh, I guess. He snaked from the barstool and approached the staircase. There's a rumor. A rumor? About you. Trav thinks you have a family. Does he now? Orion nodded. I wanted you to know. Orion bolted up the stairs and into the bedroom again, closing the door behind him. He stripped off his clothes, crawling into bed with the coding textbook spread across his lap. The boy fell asleep before he finished the first page. The next day he woke up straddling his pillow with his face resting on the hardcover textbook, the slightly textured words denting his tawny skin. He shoved the book aside, replacing it with his pillow. He yanked the sheets over his slim shoulders and dozed in and out of sleep. The sun's movement charted the time. The morning's soft blue sunlight gave way to the harsh yellow midday light and easing into warm orange afternoon light. Orion finally rolled over and threw the covers aside when his phone vibrated in the sheets. He rooted through them, putting the phone to his ear. Hello. Hey, Ajax groused. Hi. Orion tucked the phone between his shoulder and his cheek as he adjusted the blankets. I'm in the town. I scoped out the location and everything. How's your day been? I slept. Orion wrapped the blankets around his shoulders, closing heavy eyelids. What did you and Ricky do yesterday after I called? We played crime scene, and he cooked fish for dinner again. And he let you sleep in this late? He's getting soft. He would have had me up with the sun, running laps for every minute I stayed in bed past 5 a.m. Maybe he likes me more. Maybe he's getting old. Where is he now? I don't know. Fine. Let him know I'm going to check in at the hotel, and I'll call him when I'm ready to get this done. Are you scared? No, should I be? I don't know. Like some athletes get nervous before every one of their games. I'm not an athlete. I know, but I'm sure the same principle applies. Maybe. I miss you. Oh, really? Orion grumbled. Yeah. It feels weird sleeping alone. You miss me because you're sleeping alone? No. I miss you because I miss you. I miss waking up next to you the most. Are you high again? No, I'm not high. I'm serious. Fine. Well, I miss you too. Orion thumbed a stray thread, flattening it between his fingers and plumping it out again. Good. Yes. Orion squeezed his eyes shut as a well of sadness opened and swallowed him down. His eyes were too exhausted for tears, but his features distorted without the telltale signs of moisture. His skin became blotchy and his breath became ragged. "You all right?" "Why, yes. Fine," Orion whispered, blotting his face with the threadbare sheets. "You sound upset." "I'm fine. I'm ready for you to be home." "A few more days." "All right. Let me nap." "Okay, bye." "Bye." Orion squeezed the phone as the line went dead and collapsed back into the sheets. His heart still thumped against his chest, but a sense of satisfaction crept through his bones. It started at his extremities and crawled to the center of his body, settling his pounding heart. He reveled in the new feeling, staring at the wood-planked ceiling until he forced himself out of bed. He perused the log cabin, checking the kitchen and the living room for Ricky, but only finding the hound dog, Booger, lying half under the coffee table. The dog woofed, tail thumping the ground as Orion walked towards him. "Hi, Booger. Where's Ricky?" Booger yawned, perking his floppy ears forward. He nuzzled his head under Orion's hand, licking his palm, and then flopping back down with a gusty sigh. "All right then. I suppose I'm on my own." Orion chuckled, stuffing his feet in his boots and throwing a jacket over his shoulders. "Come on, Booger. Let's go for a walk." Booger looked towards Orion, one furry eyebrow quirking. "Boogie? Boogs?" Orion patted his thighs. "Come on, big puppy." Booger shifted his eyebrows, tucking his legs under his body. His fat paws stretched in front of him. "Come on, big guy." Orion whistled. The dog jerked his head back, tail sweeping the ground before he scrambled to his large paws and trotted outside at Orion's heels, plastering his big body against the boy's legs as they strolled down the front steps. His boots crunched into the snow. "You like me now, huh? You're used to how I smell, I guess." Orion reasoned, wrapping his jacket around his body and stalking through the snow. They left a trail of thick boot prints and fat paw prints as they walked. "You know the way back, right, Boogie?" Boogie woofed. "Okay, good. I'm relying on you." Orion patted the dog's head as they continued. The sun set around them, and Orion followed no particular path. He weaved through trees. He followed a shallow stream, eventually rounding back towards the direction of the house with the light to his back. The sun had left only its rays for light over the horizon. The cold had reached his bones and his fingers throbbed. "Lead us home, Boogie." Orion scratched behind the dog's ears. Booger trotted ahead of Orion, sniffing the ground. They marched for half an hour until the dog lifted his head and froze. His tail whipped the air and he darted away at breakneck speed, howling, barking, and kicking up snow as he went. "Damn it!" Orion ran after him. His chest burned after 5 minutes, and he paused with his hands on his knees. "I have to get in shape," the boy groaned, rubbing his aching chest as tires crunched the snow. "Ah!" Orion reached the log cabin as Ricky's truck pulled up to the front, twin lights shining onto the porch. He approached the vehicle, hanging on the door when Ricky opened it. Booger danced on the porch, yapping at them both. His floppy ears bounced each time he threw his head back in a bark. "Shut it, Boogs." Ricky slid out of the seat, adjusting his jeans on his narrow hips. "Hey kid. How are you feeling?" "Good. I took a walk." "Where were you?" "I went out to get some groceries is all." Ricky's lips tugged into a smile, and he reached into the vehicle, grabbing bags of frozen and fresh foods. "When I was young, we went almost every day for fresh foods to cook. Now everything is processed and designed to stick in a microwave." What is for dinner tonight?" "Well, I think I'm going to make some steak and potatoes." "Sounds good. I like seeing a man cook." Orion's cheeks burned as he grabbed some of the bags. "Do you? Well, as soon as Jax returns, he'll be making every meal." "Oh, I would like that." Orion combed his hair behind his ear and followed Ricky upstairs with the bags. Orion sat the groceries on the counter and watched Ricky separate and store everything. "When did you leave?" "For groceries?" "Why?" I don't know. I'm curious. Boogie and I were walking for a while, and I know you were gone before we went walking, but I remember town wasn't far away. Ricky dropped a pot of hot water on the stove and sliced potatoes. I checked on some things in town. Will you please go to my study and retrieve my laptop? Okay. The boy's shoulders sagged as Ricky dismissed him. He kicked off his shoes at the stairs, damp socks carrying him up to the second floor where he peeked into each room before he found Ricky's office. He grabbed the laptop and the charger, hugging them to his body as he descended the staircase. I'm going to walk you through overriding the cameras at the bank, all right? Orion's green eyes widened. What? You are going to override the cameras at the bank while Jax does the mission. Why me? Because you are capable of doing it. Ricky seasoned thick cuts of beefsteak, placing a cast iron pan on the stove next to the boiling potatoes. He walked Orion through the beginning steps to accessing the security cameras. I'm in. Orion squealed, leaning closer to the laptop monitor. His nose touched the dusty screen. They're still locking up. I see security guards moving around and everything. Very good. They should be finished on the hour. Okay. In 15 minutes? Yes. Keep an eye on them. Nodding, Orion leaned back in his seat, crossing his slender legs as he studied the various camera feeds. I see them locking up the front. Counting money. The deposit box we're looking for is 659. I see it. Good. Now we wait for everyone to clear and for Jax to call. Orion tipped his head as he watched the screens. The 15 minutes dragged by with the security guards checking and rechecking all the exits and doors. The guards checked the locks, desks, and the computers. He propped his elbows on the table, both hands holding up his face as he kept his eyes on the screen. He focused on the gray flashing numbers. While you wait, you could check the save footage. We need to see which date aligns the closest. It's in the first folder labeled with today's date. What's today's date? October 23rd. Oh, you put the day before the month. I see it now. Orion opened file after file of night footage before he selected two, matching up even the slight nuances of how the lights shined on the room. Ricky explained the next steps once he had the replacement feed sliced. You can do a test if you would like. I think so. Because I don't want to mess up when it's for real. Ricky nodded, laying the steaks in the sizzling skillet. Orion squinted at the computer screen as he tapped at the keys, inputting information one simple code at a time. He repeated the procedure back to Ricky, who nodded again. Oh my God, I'm nervous. Don't be. This will be a code you use all the time. Ricky leaned against the counter, folding his arms across his chest as Orion reviewed the collection of numbers and symbols, fingers hovering over the Enter key. Green eyes scanned the black screen and stark white text 3 times before he exhaled, Okay. He pressed the Enter key. Done. On the security camera feed, there was a momentary blip. The image stretched across the screen, and the screen went black before it blinked on again, now showing Orion's newly coded information. Oh my God, I did it! A toothy grin split his face in half, and he looked at Ricky. Ricky nodded. Very good. I am proud of you. Now remove it and take it back to the regular image, the older man instructed, giving Orion step-by-step directions while flipping the steak in the cast iron pan. The screen blipped again, and Orion relaxed in the stool, quiet as Ricky cooked in front of him and Booger snoozed on the rug in the living room, floppy ears fanned out against the knotted pattern. The boy sighed, tracing the keys on the laptop. What is it? Ricky glanced towards Orion as he drained the potatoes and mashed them with a spoon. Nothing. Just remembering. Remembering dinners with my husband. Did he ever cook for you? Orion snorted, No. Never. My apologies. I cooked for him always. He told me it was my job because he worked out of the home, and because it was all I was good for. cooking, cleaning, and sucking his dick. He said these things? Orion nodded. We had a routine. I cooked, he ate, and then we, engaged in sexual activities. Why, yes. Orion crossed his arms over his chest, squeezing his elbows as he shielded his slender body from Ricky. He rubbed his cheek on his shoulder, shutting his eyes as his skin tingled. Nikolai's voice infiltrated his brain, cursing and demeaning him. His bones ached from old wounds, and blackness swamped the backs of his eyelids. He was paralyzed. Iron filled his veins, his fingers were anvils, and he fell through the floor into an endless pit. His stomach muscles trapezed inside him. His cell phone rang, buoying him back to the current moment. He glanced at the flashing screen and pressed the answer button, lifting the phone to his ear. Hi, Ajax. I'm prepared. Okay, I'm putting you on speakerphone so Ricky can hear. Okay. Orion placed the phone on the counter as he pressed the megaphone icon. Can you hear me? Yeah. Good. Okay, so I think I'm doing this whole thing, so what do you need from me? Are you looking at a map? Hang on. Orion mumbled, what's your address? The corner of Wrightwood and Dayton. Perfect. Orion zoomed in on the location, combing his fingers through his hair. Okay, what's next? Jax, I'm letting you guide your partner through this. He has the tools, and I am here to assist. Ricky plated food for himself and sat down across from Orion. Right on. Okay, kid. Ajax's voice shifted to a firm business tone. First thing we're going to do is let me get to the roof, and you're going to prepare to override the feed. When it's live, I'll start my part. I'll stay on call with you, but I won't say anything. Okay. Did Ricky show you how to listen to police calls? And no, he didn't. I didn't think it was necessary for this mission. Ricky sliced through his steak, cutting it into 1-inch squares. Fair. It's probably not. I'm probably being paranoid. Anyway, hang on. Ajax rustled around, grunting even as he tried to muffle the receiver. Hey. Orion crossed his legs and studied the map. Wait. What's your exit route? Down Lincoln, down north, merge on Highway 90. Oh. Well, good. Orion chuckled, voice trembling. Nervous? Why, yeah. A little. Now your safety is in my hands. Your hands are soft but surprisingly strong, so I think I'm safe. Ricky rolled his eyes as he swallowed a piece of steak. I am still listening. Oh, right. You know, I love waking up with my cock nestled between your soft ass cheeks. Okay, stop, Orion groaned. Can we focus now? The boy's cheeks burned. Yeah, we can. I'm almost to the roof. Ajax's breathing increased and slowed again after a grunt. He rustled around and sighed. Are you there? Yeah. Ajax's voice dropped to a whisper. What do you need from me? Override the cameras. Okay. Orion set to work, fingers dancing over the keys. He paused after each step, studying his computer screen before continuing. He wet his lips and glanced at Ricky. I'm ready. Do you mind if I review? No, not at all. Orion pushed the laptop to Ricky, who set his plate aside and studied the screen. Let me know when y'all are ready. One moment. Orion propped his chin up with his hands, stealing a square of Ricky's steak. It looks good. Very good. First try? Unassisted, yes. Damn. It is easy, if you remember the steps in relation to each other and why they're important. Rote memorization is never successful. Orion shrugged, eyelashes fluttering as he glanced at Ricky. Indeed. Right again. Ricky smiled, features softening. He passed the computer back to Orion. Okay, Orion tapped the keys more. Overridden. It's all you, baby. Ajax rumbled, yeah. All right. Let me know if anything's amiss. Okay. Orion charted Ajax's movements by his noises. He heard the crackling sounds of the blowtorch and the sound of the ladder clattering on the ground inside the building. "Can you see me?" Ajax whispered. "No." "Perfect. All right." The soft sounds of metal against metal flowed through the phone line. A box opened. "Papers," Ajax murmured. "Job completed." "Okay." Orion lowered his voice as well. "Now we're going to let the replacement feed play until it runs out. We don't want them to be able to pinpoint the time of the crime," Ricky explained, speaking in a normal volume. "Right." Orion's stomach rumbled. "So can I eat now?" "You could have eaten before." "Fix yourself a plate." Ricky laughed. Orion sucked in his cheeks, lips puckering like a duck. "I am no longer a guest?" "Hardly. You've assisted in your first mission, you're part of the family now." As Ajax finished the mission, Orion prepared himself a plate of food. He selected a smaller cut of steak and surrounded it with potatoes before taking his seat again and listening to Ajax open box after box. "These weird white people keep so much shit in these boxes, and yet they're so easy to get into. I've got a handful of rings, probably heirlooms or something. My parents have a safety deposit box. I think I even have one." "Yeah," Ajax drawled. "Almost done." Within 10 minutes, Ajax had climbed back up the ladder, folded it up, and retreated back to his vehicle, tossing supplies and valuables in the vehicle. The engine purred awake. "You're out." "Yeah. I'm out." "Now what? Can I close the computer?" "No, but I'll watch it if you would like to go chat." Ricky inched the computer closer. "Tea, thanks?" "Why, yes." Orion flushed and left the kitchen table. "You alone?" Ajax asked. "I'm in the living room." "Why?" "No reason. I do enjoy it, you know, the thing with my cock and your ass." "Which thing?" Orion muffled his voice and the receiver. His cheeks filled with color, and he avoided Ricky's hard gaze. "In the morning. Sometimes you hump me a little. Fuck, I love it." "Stop." "I don't." Orion shivered. He glanced at Ricky again, before shoving his arms in a jacket and stepping outside on the porch. "Yeah, you do." "Fine. If you like it so much, why are we moving slow?" "Because we talked about this. I don't want you to be interested, only because I'm not your husband." "And when will you be randomly convinced I'm not?" "I don't know." "You know, you could believe me when I say I'm not." "I would, except I know what trauma looks like. I want you to be independent, and not look for another man to call the shots for you." "You wouldn't call the shots if you would listen to me, which you don't. You didn't even today, when we were working together." "When?" "When you asked about the cameras, like you couldn't believe I had overridden them properly. You know what I think, Ajax?" "What?" "I think this is about you. You can't trust anyone to work with you or to care about you, besides everyone you already know. Is it strange to think someone could know you and have honest feelings for you?" "Well, you don't really know me." "I could get to know you if you would let me." "No." "Well." Orion's eyes watered, his frustration building inside him. "Well, I think we should sleep separately until you figure everything out. We'll talk about it when I get back." "No, we don't have to. There's nothing to discuss." Orion ended the call before Ajax replied and stomped back inside the log cabin. He threw his jacket back on the hook, shaking off the cold and his exasperation. "Is everything all right?" Ricky glanced up from the laptop screen. Orion shook his head. "Ajax is an asshole, so no, everything isn't all right." "Ah. Oh." Ricky raised his gray eyebrows. "Care to elaborate?" "Nothing new. I'm tired of his hot and cold. He's talking about how he misses me, and he won't even kiss me goodbye. My feelings aren't a game." "I see. You're not helping." Ah. You know what? I'm going to bed. I can't deal with this. I'm not taking any more of his calls. I understand your frustrations. Ricky's warm brown eyes observed Orion before he nodded. I will call Jax and let him know to call me instead. Good, Orion growled. Stupid. I'm not even hungry now. I'll put your plate in the refrigerator for later. Whatever. I'm going to the room. Bleary-eyed from frustrated tears and exhaustion, Ajax pulled into a hotel 13 hours from the location of the crime. He wandered into the lobby, collecting a room key and unwanted positivity. He collapsed into the rough sheets in his twin bedroom, sleeping through the afternoon and waking in the evening. He kicked off his heavy boots and wiggled out of his jeans as he put his cell phone to his ear. The phone rang 5 times. Ajax rumbled as he ended the call and dialed a new number. This time the phone rang twice. Jax? Ricky's warm voice filtered through the receiver. Where's Orion? He's in your room, why? I called him, and he didn't answer. He said he wasn't going to answer. Yeah, I know, but I didn't figure he was serious. I figured he'd cool off and be fine. Jax, I don't want to be in the middle of it, but I will say this. I believe if he told you to leave him alone, then you should leave him alone. Whose side are you on, Ricky? I'm on yours. I'm always on yours because I care about you. I think you two do need time to sort your emotions. Whatever. Just. I will take care of him. Fine, Ajax snarled. Call me when you leave in the morning. I will. Growling, Ajax ended the call and threw the phone across the room. It landed with an unnerving crack, and Ajax leapt from the bed, pacing the length of a room like a caged animal. He punched the wall, bruising his knuckles and igniting a burning fire inside him. He punched the wall a second time and a third, breaking the molded drywall. He dug in his bag for one of his extra cell phones, flipping it open and dialing a number. This is Ethan. A sultry voice hummed into the cell phone. Hey. Axel. It's been a minute since I've heard your voice. What can I do you for? Ajax snarled. Yeah, I'm in town. Are you busy tonight? I hope so. I've been dreaming about your cock. Yeah, well. You can have it. You blonde? I'm whatever you want me to be, baby. Then you're blonde. Come over. Ah. It'll be a couple hours, Daddy. Fine. Ajax ended the call and tossed the burner cell phone down, dropping his head off the side of the bed as he closed his eyes. His cock sprang to life when his cell phone vibrated and someone knocked on the door. He glanced at the cell phone, reviewing the message, before tossing the phone back on the bed. 1 second, he groaned, adjusting himself as he swung the door open. You get sexier with age. Ethan chuckled, ducking under Ajax's arm into the room. His blonde hair tickled his waifish shoulders. He dropped his bag on the hotel table and kicked his sneakers off, curling his toes in the carpet. Thanks. How's my hair? Ethan pushed it all forward over his shoulders and rested his hands on his hips. Looks good. Strip and get on your knees. The other man's eyelids fluttered and he groaned. Fuck. Yes. He peeled his shirt over his head and shoved cut-off shorts down his square hips. He sank to his knees once he was stark naked, and his bronze skin glowed in the flickering overhead light of the room. He crawled over to Ajax. Swampy green eyes flicked to Ajax's face. Ajax shivered. With blonde hair and dark green eyes, Ethan was Orion's naughty twin brother. Ajax trembled. His cock strained against his tight black jeans, and his mind replaced Ethan's sharp features with Orion's. Ethan's dark eyes and playful grin became Orion's light green hues and shy smile. Ah. Go on. Take what you want. Ajax's voice softened. Nimble fingers unbuttoned and unzipped Ajax's pants, freeing his cock with a gleeful moan. I missed you. Ethan ran his full lips down the length of Ajax's cock. I missed you too. I was talking to your cock. Ethan grinned, green eyes dancing. Yeah, Ajax grunted and guided Ethan's mouth on him, feeding him his cock inch by inch until it hit the back of Ethan's throat. I'm going to fuck your face. Ethan nodded. Ajax grabbed a fistful of hair and thrust into him again. And again. And again, until Ethan gagged and pushed him back. Ethan panted as he caught his breath, licking his swollen lips and arching his back. He humped the carpeted floor as his cock leaked clear dribbles of excitement. There are condoms in my bag, Ethan gasped, larynx bobbing in his throat. Noted. Ajax shoved his cock back in Ethan's mouth, pushing all the way in until the boy's nose mashed against his body. His cock curved down Ethan's tight throat. Ethan gagged again, gripping Ajax's jeans. Ajax held him in place by his hair even as he squirmed and retched again. Saliva dribbled down Ethan's chin, sliding over his neck and along his chest. He yanked him back, stretching his neck. Fuck me? Ethan stammered. Don't be a whore. Too late. Ajax slapped his face, and Ethan's blood rushed to his cheek, outlining the shape of the other man's hand. Try again. Ah. Ethan's cock jumped. Ajax dragged Ethan to his feet, and Ethan arched his back, pressing his bare chest into the other man's worn cotton t-shirt. The whore mashed their hips together too, feeling the outline of Ajax's cock through his jeans. He slid his hands over Ajax's shoulders and down his chest, fondling his muscles through his shirt. What do you want? You to be quiet, Ajax growled, throwing Ethan across the bed. The boy winced, tucking his arms under his body. Ajax grabbed a condom and slid it over his exposed cock before grabbing Ethan's hips, forcing him onto his knees. He speared him, pushing all the way in with one rough thrust. Ethan sobbed, twisting his body in the bed. His lean muscles tightened. The wings of his shoulder blades pointed to the sky. After his first cry, he buried his face in the sheets, muffling further noises as Ajax assaulted his ass. Better. Fuck. Ajax gripped Ethan by the hips, pounding into his shuddering body. He came inside the condom and pushed Ethan away, peeling the thin latex off and replacing it with another. Ethan sank into the bed at the break, tossing his hair all to one side and watching Ajax move around the room. He peeked at Ajax over his shoulder. Do you want to talk about it? In a minute. He rolled Ethan onto his back and shoved into him again. He stretched him open, one knee kissing his shoulder while the other dented the mattress. Ajax squeezed his cock. He stroked him as he fucked him a second time. Ethan came on his belly, shuddering and moaning through each wave of his orgasm. Thank you. Ajax tied off a second condom, dropping it in the wastebasket with a wet plop. He threw Ethan a damp towel from the bathroom and cleaned himself with another before returning to the main room, sitting on the corner of the bed. Ethan toweled off and slithered over to Ajax, squeezing his shoulders and sliding his hands down his chest. He kissed his cheek. What is it? You're always a dick when you're upset. Did you have a hard job? No. The job was easy. Ajax relaxed under Ethan's touch. Then what? I met this kid. Ethan's dark eyebrows knit together. Kid. Yeah. Like kid? Shit. No. What the hell? He's an adult. Like 20s. Gross. Ajax shook his head, pulling Ethan into his lap and resting his head on Ethan's shoulder. Oh good. He's blonde, isn't he? He's got brown hair, but we dyed it blonde for disguise. Oh, so he travels with you. Where is he now? He's staying with a friend. I did a job as a favor. It's complicated. Not really. So, how did you meet him? I killed his husband for a job. Perfect first date, I guess. What's the problem? The problem is I thought with my dick and not my brain. He should be dead right now, not traveling around with me committing crimes. And he thinks there's something between us. Ajax scowled. Right? Well, is there something between you? I don't know. You gonna fuck me again, a little later? Yeah, if you want. Okay, good. How does he make you feel? Ajax shrugged. Good, I guess. Try again. He makes me feel like stronger. Like better because he's there. Okay, what else? Nervous. Excited. Protective. Scared. Oh, honey. Have you fucked him yet? Literally everyone keeps asking me if I've fucked him. Because they know you're a slut. Ethan laughed, touching Ajax's cheek. Damn it. I haven't slept with him. And I'm not going to. Ever. I don't know. Fuck. Fine. So you like him. Why did you rip my asshole open? Nothing. We had a fight earlier, I guess. A fight about. He said we should stop sleeping in the same bed until I work my feelings out. Ethan tasted Ajax's skin, laving his tongue across his back. And you're upset? Yeah, because I like sleeping together and waking up next to him. Okay then. Work your feelings out. Sounds cut and dry to me. Ajax grumbled. And I want you to suck my cock for round 3. Aha. Any other requests? Warn me next time you want to play out your rape fantasies. Ethan kissed his cheek. I still have to work even if I'm sore. His husband abused him. And? Ajax glared at Ethan. Oh. You think because he was abused, he isn't going to like it rough? I mean, it crossed my mind. Well, y'all aren't fucking, so I don't think it matters. Now less talking, more putting your face between my legs. Ethan stretched across the bed, spreading his legs apart.